The stove is the stove on? I think the stove is on. All right. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Okay, I know you was waiting. Sorry, from time to time. We just gotta wait. We gotta and just like any other product, such as cakes or a good steak or chicken, sometimes it's best if you just leave it in there just a little longer. But thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it is November the 4th right here. And the weather's changing. It's clearly fall. Time went back. April? Did you set your clock backwards? Did you get caught up with that?
So I actually don't have any clocks in my house.
What about your
I just have my phone, and my phone did it automatically, so I didn't have to do anything to my clock.
Okay. So what about you, Alan? Did you set your clock back to officially signify spring is over, summer's over, everything?
I did, and I still woke up at 5:30, so it didn't work.
It didn't work. Okay. Yeah, I'm in that boat, man. I was actually doing a little Ubering, man, about 2:30, and then I realized, and I looked up at my clock, and it was still 1:00. I was like, "Ain't no way!" I forgot clean that it was at the time was going back, but I looked at my phone, and my car phone was two different things, but I ended up circling back. But yeah, what's going on, everybody? It is officially fall, and in fall, we all know there's so much going on here. Oh yeah. Oh, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Thank you for joining us. You know, we love you. We appreciate you, Sam. And kiss the kids before you tuck them in for bed. Anyway, so guys, I don't know if y'all understand what's been happening lately. Sports has been taking over the airwaves as we have just got finished with the World Series. I can't wait to get into it. We got my guy Cheats in the background from Black Baseball Mixtape. We will be discussing the World Series with him. Thank you, Cheats, for hanging out with us again. And somehow, some way, bro, in the middle of that, I would be remiss to not bring up the fact that YouTube and Disney decided to break up in the middle of like the most important time in a sport watcher's world life. Did y'all hear about this? Y'all know? Do you know, Alan? Do you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So millions, and I say millions. Okay, wait. When I say millions, I mean millions. Okay, yeah, millions of subscribers, right? Woke up Friday morning after seeing a week full of ads on YouTube TV that said ESPN and Disney are leaving. Don't go to this website and stop them from blah 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 and yada yada yada. And they said the basketball game featuring the Knicks on Friday, Georgia, Florida Saturday. And I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, those are games that are important. Are they really going to go? And it's Halloween weekend. Everybody knows, if you're a sports fan, the ESPN family of networks does an awesome job, an awesome presentation on Halloween. And everybody dresses up and they mix and match. And, NBA TV, Shanae Agumake dressed up as Kendrick Perkins on one of my favorite shows on Sportsmanlike in the Morning. They did like the Bulls trifecta where Evan Cohen was Phil Jackson, and of course so on and so forth. It was crazy. With Chris Canty was Jordan, and of course Michelle Smallman was Dennis Rodman. I don't know how they figured that out, but oh well. And it's wild to me that we have to deal with this right now. Like, as good as sports are right now, whether it's basketball, football, college basketball, which we will get into for a short moment a little later, all starting up. If you got YouTube TV and you thought you were doing something, paying $88 getting all these channels, they just took about 6 of them away. Alex, do you have anybody with YouTube TV, or has somebody tried to give it to you?
No. It's too much for me right now. Because one, I don't work, and two, it was going to be tough for me anyway. So unfortunately, I can't get YouTube TV. But I will say that blackout game in Neyland Stadium is pretty cool. I like the atmosphere from that. Also helped that we won that game. So Sorry, Sam.
Sorry, Sam. Well, I mean, April, listen to this now. If you lost these channels, would you change cable providers? Let's say you lost ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN News, ABC in the local affiliates, Disney Channel, FX, National Geographic, just to name a few. If you lost those, would you just have to find somebody else to give you cable, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Brothers just
like I would be done. Like I would be done.
It's crazy. Brothers literally just paid $87, $89, $90 dang near and found out on Friday we was gonna lose all of that. You know what kind of decisions we would have been made had I known that this was the part. But normally what happens is Disney and YouTube figure out a way to do this. The idea is that YouTube wasn't willing to pay a fair market rate for the content. YouTube TV stance is that Disney demanded terms that would raise the prices for subscribers, and that would they used the idea of the network blackouts as leverage. And then, of course, millions of people have gone on to social media sites to complain and express their frustration. And somehow, some way, YouTube TV has been offering credit. So if you have YouTube TV, please go check on that. YouTube TV is giving affected users a one-time $20 credit, and some are seeing as much as $10 a month discounted from their payments as much as 6 months. But you have to reach out to them in order to do this. But I don't know.
I already have to deal with Netflix and Peacock, so I can't deal with ESPN too.
Listen, I was just about to say I don't want to talk about things that you could do illegally, where you could watch networks for free, but I don't know
if that one just hypothetically still existed, man.
Yeah, if there was a way
RIP
networks,
RIP.
or if there was a way to watch sports for free on the internet right now, I don't know, bro. I think they're getting hit up.
There's this thing called a VPN. They'll be fine.
Here at the network of RecRoom Sports, we do not condone any pirating at all. That's what you
know. Oh, dang it. Let me go put this peg leg away real quick.
Right. No face, no case, no evidence. But anyway, y'all, we got a great show lined up. I'm excited to be here. We got Cheats, we got Champ, we got AP, we got Avery, we got Bobby G. We got Jay on the road right now. Jay is probably at your local pub or dispensary or bar having a great time. Jay.
Oh, he was Sunday night.
I think he might even be there now. So you know what, dog? 8 minutes in, we're gonna go ahead and get to the intro. Let's go ahead and start the show.
This is RecRoom Sports. Olympians carrying the torch, going where they don't go. We ain't lost. From the optics to the topics, we got this with synopsis. Think outside the boxes like Jay on the mic or your boy K Witt. Joe is my coach, T Sweat on the mix. All sports, even if you catch fish like Nate Diaz catches fist. You need to catch this episode, it's a can't miss. We go live and you should subscribe and X's and O's. We made our plan, yo.
Yeah. That's right, y'all. November the 4th, Tuesday, we are back. -1 right now. We can't wait for Bobby G to show up. He's got some things going on. He's always being a parent, so big shouts out to Audible Sports Podcast, and I got Bobby G. He'll be in the building. And of course, we got our favorites, or some of our favorites right now. One of our favorite homegirls, always ready. I don't know why she's wearing black, but I have a feeling we will get into it. Everybody make some noise for our good friend wearing all black. Just April today? Just April?
Yes, April. Just April.
Just April.
Yeah, I'm wearing black because I'm in mourning. I know we're gonna get to it later, but I'm wearing black because I'm in mourning. Yeah. It's a very bad day.
Thank you for sharing with us, and we will get into that most definitely. Of course, one of the hardest working men in Let's Talk Sports and RecRoom Sports history, we got to give a big shout out to our guy AP Alan Browns. Alan Perilous, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
Even with the knee injury tonight, I'm still here.
Big shouts out to you. I know you just got finished doing on the mat with our guy, Mr. First Down. Sam, what it do? That's my boy. And of course, we got to give a big shout out to Jay, who is out there, possibly at your local Buffalo Wild Wings. With several pints of Guinness somewhere nearby. Jay, what it do? We appreciate you checking in. But we're gonna go ahead.
Good win for Portland the other night. Good win for Portland,
dog. Yeah. Hey, Tiago Splitter is doing a hell of a job coaching. So let's go ahead and get into it, y'all, man. Of course, out here in the streets in the rec room world, if you're working, if you're doing your thing, we appreciate you for checking in with us. But of course, we got to shout out the locals and the socials. So you can find us on Twitter/X. That's at RecRoom Sports. On the Instagram, that's right, the Instagram at _RecRoom Sports. On TikTok at RecRoom Sports Hub. On YouTube at the RecRoom Sports Hub. And we always do the same thing, guys. We are going up on a Tuesday, so make sure you let us know who's your team. Shout it out in the comments. Join in with the conversation. We love to get the feedback. This is one of the best times for it because right now we're going to go to a little bit of everything. And as you could have saw, or if you missed it, YouTube TV and Disney split up basically because of disagreements on funds. Everything's always about the money. But right now, millions of people are out of tons of sports. And I'm forced to watch The Herd with Cal and Cowherd for the first time. I didn't realize, Stephen A. Smith had a battle on the other end. But, hey, look, it is what it is. I'm enjoying sports as much as I can. But, Alan, wasn't there a big thing last week that took place that we have to get into? What was it, bro?
I mean, speaking of ESPN and bad contracts,
oh, no.
no longer covering baseball after this season. We did have the World Series. Yeah. ESPN is no longer
MLB?
covering. Yeah, they're no longer covering baseball.
They're covering baseball.
I think NBC is going to get Sunday Night Baseball now.
Yeah, and of course, TBS has their regular.
Because ESPN is no longer doing Sunday Night Baseball. That has been a thing, and it seems like honestly, ESPN doesn't really care about baseball because they don't like covering it. They don't like talking about it unless it's the Dodgers or the Yankees. So, which of course, two most profitable franchises right now. And of course, we had Dodgers in the World Series against Toronto. Great 7-game series. Game 7 even went into extras. Fun series overall. But again, to beat the champs, you got to beat the champs. And unfortunately, the champs continue to reign.
So we got to go ahead and put it out there just like the guys did. The Dodgers win!
Oh, my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Dodgers win the 2025 World Series. And we're going to talk about it with one of our favorite guys, one of our biggest cousins out here in the streets right now, Black Baseball Mixtape's own Cheats for Black Baseball Mixtape. Cheats, what it do? Oh, wait. Oh, you're
muted. You're muted.
Yeah,
what's good? You got me?
Yep.
All right. What's good, everyone? What's good, man? Thanks for having me again. It's always a pleasure to be with all of y'all. A lot to talk about, so that's fantastic.
Yes, sir, my friend. It is crazy that we were just getting into talking about the World Series with you, and then to get such a riveting series, we had to bring you back on. You're one of the foremost, most knowledgeable people that we can call on about the subject matter. So I had to bring you in. And then, of course, I got two of our most enthusiastic baseball watchers right here in Alan and Averill. So, big guy, real talk. Let's go ahead and get right into it. It's crazy because this World Series had like so many things hinging on it. I want you to start from the beginning, so to speak. The Dodgers, the Blue Jays season, how it kind of just unraveled or somewhat came together to even make this one of the most memorable series that we can I can remember myself, honestly.
Yeah, no, I would go further. I would go further in the sense that we did our show on Monday, and we really debated if it was the best World Series kind of in our lifetime. I'm in my 40s. I've watched a lot of World Series. I cannot remember a World Series that was this entertaining, had this much storylines, if you will, had this much storylines, had the battle between, like, you know, the team that represents Canada, now the only team that represents Canada in Major League Baseball, and then Los Angeles. You'd mentioned the narrative there as well. The LA Dodgers going for back-to-back World Series. They hadn't had a back-to-back World Series since the Yankees, and then before that, the Blue Jays in 92, 93. So there's Yankees in the mid-90s. There's the 92, 93. Oh, no, I'm serious. There's the Yankees, kind of those Jeter.
99, 2000 Yankees.
Yeah. And then there was
it's a three-peat.
Yep. Then they had the 92, 93 Blue Jays. And then before that, I think you got to go back to the Big Red Machine in the 70s. So back-to-back World Series champions does not happen very often. And the fact that, you know, they were able to pick up back-to-back championships, they were able to, I guess if you count that kind of, I guess it was the COVID year, quite a few of them, Mookie, Freddie, Kershaw, those guys have gotten 3 now in the Dodgers. And if they, you know, come back, then they'll have like the opportunity to really have a dynasty in baseball that we haven't seen in a really long time. So to answer your question, going back to the kind of the beginning with both teams, what I do think people should fully understand, and I think the Blue Jays manager, John Schneider, said it best, because the Blue Jays were not like, they're not the little engine that could, if you will. It was, he said it best, because he said a lot of people are acting like this is David versus Goliath, and it's not. It's basically Goliath versus Goliath, because he had full confidence in his team, the Blue Jays, to be able to win the game and win the series. And they had the opportunity to win games and win series, right? Several times over. And, you know, things didn't break out their way. But the idea that most people did not know who the Toronto Blue Jays were, didn't really know their players outside of Vlad. The fact that they were the best team in the American League all year. They were the best team, and in record-wise and kind of everything, they were the best team in the American League all season.
Pretty much once they signed Vladdy to that extension, they took off.
Yep, they signed Vlad. And that was the other thing. You know, everyone quite a bit was talking about the Dodgers payroll, and they should, and we should probably talk about it as well in regards to what that really means for baseball. But the idea that Vlad, like, you know, everybody's talking about Shohei's $700 million, and rightfully so. Vlad signed for $500 million. So it's not, I mean, it's off like 700 and 500. I would obviously take the, you know, I would take that money, but
hold on.
Vlad got
how much money was it again?
Vlad signed for what, 500 million. I want to say it was like 10 years plus, something like that.
I gotta hit this button.
Like 10 years plus. Toronto actually has a top 5 salary in baseball.
Yeah, like they've got a lot of
nobody wants to go to Toronto because of Canada's finances right now.
Yeah,
the tax in Canada is not good.
It's a 14-year, $500 million.
Yeah, so 14 years, $500 million. So, I mean, so starting there with the Blue Jays being a really, really good team, and a really, really good team all season, and they played their butts off throughout the postseason. They dealt with the Bichette injury, and then in the World Series, they dealt with the George Springer and Bichette injuries. But they, you know, there's another pitcher, Barrios, is really good. Didn't get to pitch in the postseason because he got injured before that. But they find this guy, this phenom, 22-year-old Trey Savage. You know what I mean? And they've just got really, really great storylines. And not to mention Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the entire postseason just played his butt off. Like he went from star to kind of breakout superstar in this postseason. Like Vlad Jr. was, neck and neck as one of the biggest stars in all the postseason. Then you switch over to the Dodgers side of things. And prior to the season, there were articles written and discussions had where if this Dodgers team was going to be the greatest team of all time. Like, they were that good on paper if healthy. Now, what happened throughout the Dodgers, and it started really, right when the season started, even before the season started. If you guys remember, Mookie Betts gets this stomach bug, and he loses 15 pounds. Nobody knows what's wrong with him. He doesn't know what's wrong with him.
Right.
And so they're going into the Tokyo series, playing the Padres. I think the Cubs or the Padres. And
Cubs,
he's like,
Cubs.
he's a shell of himself, right? Didn't even know if he was going to play. And so you dealt with, like, Doc Roberts had to deal with injury after injury to that pitching staff all season long. They had to deal with Roki Sasaki, who they thought was going to be just like an amazing phenom starting pitcher, who wound up getting sent down to the minors in the middle of the season, right? They've got to deal with every team and their mom. Every time the Dodgers come in town, they're trying to beat them. They're trying to do all the things that they can. The Dodgers carry on through all of it. Seems really challenging. They do all this to win the West, get into the playoffs. They weren't, they weren't a top seed in the playoffs, but they get into the playoffs, and they just get healthy at the right time.
Right.
Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Tyler Glass now. You know what I mean? These guys, Shohei's pitching again, right? They slow walk Shohei's pitching pretty much all season. And so they get healthy at the right time. And they do like enough. The Dodgers is the second World Series in a row that the Dodgers got out hit. You know what I mean? They basically got out hit, out slugged, and they still won the World Series. So it was just fascinating. Game 1 through game 7, you got a little bit of everything. I think not only was the crowd like. I think baseball was into it. I think casual fans of the game were into it. I think there was enough compelling storylines there to get people talking about the games the next day. And then, like you said, you had 2 games going to extra innings. One of those games, game 3, with 18 innings. So you technically got 8 games of the World Series.
Pretty much.
It was just fantastic. And I think hopefully, this is something that baseball can build on momentum-wise. I think they're just doing a really, really kind of good job with the sport right now. And they don't have to wait long because I think the World Baseball Classic starts in March. And I do think that's going to be another thing for baseball fans and not baseball fans, like global fans of sports will be tuned into the World Baseball Classic following this World Series that featured some of the best players in the game, So I mean, it's been fantastic. It was a great season, but the postseason I think elevated it to a level where I think to a lot of folks, baseball, the way they finished that series, had more conversations in places that don't have baseball conversations or haven't had them since Bonds and Griffey and Jeter and those guys. They were talking about of all teams, the Dodgers and the Blue Jays and. Things that were happening on the field that they hadn't talked about in a long time, and so that I thought the series was as good for baseball as you can have.
Yeah, man, it's wild in my mind because even as a casual baseball observer, someone who kind of gets a lot of their opinions on what's going on throughout the season, and I'm picking up on it. Everybody was really excited to see Shohei do his thing, but then it was like giving a kid like one piece of candy, and not just like it's not like one large piece. It's like annihilator. You know how you get a pack of annihilators, and it's 5 or 6 in there, but that first one gets you ready to go ahead and have the other 6 in the pack immediately. And we got Shohei slowly, but then somewhere in my mind, I was like, "Who is this Yoshinobu Yamamoto guy? And where did he come from?" And like the idea that he did the 2 and the 2/3 scoreless innings in game 7, short rest, You know, for your in your opinion, having somewhat two Asian born superstars come in and almost, I don't want to say take over, but pretty much, you know, put a stamp on this year's World Series. Like,
Well, I
what
mean,
type of ramifications does that, you know, have
well, I
on?
mean, well, to be honest, they got three, right? So they got Otani, they've got Yamamoto, and they've got Suzaki, who's the 23-year-old phenom, who's their closer now.
Right.
But here's what happens here, and it does get into a larger conversation about payroll and the Dodgers and a lot of things that are going to be really, really scary at the end of next year, because December 31st, 2026 is when the current CBA runs out, and they're going to have a huge labor fight before the 27 season, if they have a 27 season. And one of the reasons is because of kind of what you're mentioning, right?
Mhm.
International signees and international players, to players born outside of the United States, Canada fits into kind of our amateur system. Puerto Rico fits into our amateur system, but basically everyone else gets signed off a completely different system. And obviously Shohei Ohtani came over a while ago, but Yamamoto is a really interesting case, because Yamamoto signed at the time, and I think he still is signed. I think he's the highest paid pitcher in baseball, and he signed internationally with the Dodgers. Why did Yamamoto come to the Dodgers? Because Shohei was there, right?
Right.
Why did Suzaki come to the Dodgers? Because Shohei and Yamamoto are there. So the Dodgers, who has the largest, I'm talking about the reason the Dodgers can pay anyone $700 million and then pay Yamamoto a record contract as well, is because they get so much revenue out of Asia and so much revenue out of, like, you know, fans, if you will, that are international, that they can afford to do it. They can
Right.
afford to pay whatever luxury tax the league's going to put on them. And so, but I happen to think Yamamoto, in regards to a pitcher, and in regarding to especially this World Series, I think he pitched game 2, a complete game. I think it was 1 run, complete game, pitched all 9 innings. He had also done that earlier in the playoffs as well, where he goes 9.
Nine.
Which
Yeah.
in 2025,
He
you
pitched
don't,
2 complete games.
right. And in 2025, you don't even see that. You don't see that in the regular season, right?
No.
They're putting him on limits and so forth. The fact that he went out, took the ball, goes a complete game in game 2. Then game 3, if you guys remember, that's the 18-inning game. He went to the bullpen. He was going to pitch the 19th inning.
Ooh.
That's unreal. So then Freeman walks it off in the bottom of the 18th, right? He gets his start in game 6, pitches another, I think brilliant 6 innings or so, and then comes back and gets put in as the closer in game 7. This is unheard of stuff, especially in this day and age. And he was fantastic every time he touched the ball. The Blue Jays really couldn't handle him. And that was awesome. It was awesome to see, because you're just really pinching yourself and you're like, are you kidding me? Like, Yamamoto's going to go back in there. And credit to Doc Roberts, the manager of the Dodgers, for putting him in. But yeah, he's fantastic. For the folks that have kind of been watching the Dodgers, I think they knew he was. I mean, he's shown signs over the last 2 seasons, 3 seasons, that he's this good. But for people to see it on such a wider scale and to see how he commands 6 pitches, and he can throw all of them well, strikes. And I mean, he's really, really good. But I don't think he would have ever gotten there if Shohei wasn't there. And that makes kind of a larger point about, like, the Dodgers payroll, and is the Dodgers kind of a super team, right? And somebody pointed this out. I'll give him credit. It was Craig Calcaterra, as a writer, baseball writer that I read, and he kind of told the steps of how the Dodgers were able to assemble the team that they had. Because here's the deal: there would have been no Dodger super team had the Red Sox and the Braves decided to keep the players that they had, which they could have kept, but they decided they did not want to pay them. So they did not want to pay Mookie Betts. So Mookie Betts leaves the Red Sox, goes to the Dodgers. They did not want to pay Freddie Freeman in Atlanta. So then Freeman leaves Atlanta, signs with the Dodgers. These are two teams that had more than enough money to sign these guys.
Right.
But they decided that they wanted to save more money and build a different way. So Freddie and Mookie first, Freddie, then come to the Dodgers. They amass enough like ability and interest and so forth. Then they get Shohei. Once they get Shohei with those 3 MVPs, and the relationship that Shohei has with the Asian players that are coming over, it's going to be, I won't be surprised if you see next year I think there's a hitter coming over from the Japanese Baseball League. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up in LA, because the players are going to start taking less money just to play with their friends in LA and be on the team with Shohei, Yamamoto, and Roki. Like, I'd take less money to do that.
In my mind, and I dig it. In my mind, there's like and I looked it up. So 2 of the largest Asian-centric markets are, of course, in California. The third is, guess where, April?
New York.
Do. So it would, but the point is, the representative in LA right now is Shohei, and I'm sure that plays a big part. And my last question is like, it's kind of a 2-parter, more so about the historic ramifications of like 2 players on the Dodgers. One of them, which you just brought up, of course, which would be Mookie Betts right now, of course, 4-ring shouty, and then Clayton Kershaw's walk-off retirement right now. Like, as somebody who's kind of I feel like I grew up with Clayton Kershaw.
Right.
And now it's kind of time to say goodbye, So Mookie on one side, Clayton's on the other. I don't think Mookie's in the space of retirement, but if they did walk away together, like what type of ramifications are we looking out for that?
Well, Kershaw's announced that this is it, so he's done. Like we got all the farewell Kershaw gifts and ceremonies you're gonna get,
right?
And he's had a phenomenal career. I mean,
and Magic Johnson pretty much said it too. Like,
he's had.
They did a big thing for his last start at Dodger Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that game. It was a good game too.
It was really well done. Yeah, it was really well done. And he deserves all that. He's a first ballot Hall of Fame pitcher. He's really one of the best pitchers of all time. So, he's done. And again, he deserves everything. And he'll be going to Cooperstown really fast. Mookie Betts, on the other hand, is absolutely not done. I think Mookie will have a couple more years left at, and I mean, Mookie Betts is a couple things. He won the Roberto Clemente Award this year, which is the kind of like the Walter Payton Award in football. It's like the humanitarian award. Yeah. And that's a tremendous honor for him that is kind of voted on ultimately by the fans. Have some kind of voting capability, but ultimately it's voted on by a committee like a Roberto Clemente committee and like representatives from different teams. And it's just a really big tribute to him. The other thing that happened is most people don't know kind of all the stats. They know he's a really good player. They probably know that he won, the MVP, and he had, I guess at the time 3. Now he has 4 World Series rings. Mookie Betts has 6 Gold Gloves. Mookie Betts has 6 Gold Gloves in right field. He was nominated this year for a Gold Glove at shortstop. He didn't win it, but he was a finalist for the Gold Glove at shortstop. Think about that. You've played so much outfield at such a high level, and then because you're filling a need for this, kind of all-star team, says, "Oh no, I can play shortstop." And not only does he play shortstop, but he plays it at a level that gets recognized as one of the top 3 defensive shortstops in the National League. Mookie Betts is.
But did you hear? Did you hear who commented him at the end of one of the games during the World Series?
The Jeter conversation.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Derek Jeter was like, no, you play good shortstop.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge.
And that was a really good moment. That was a moment because Mookie struggled through the World Series. And he was down. He was down on himself and back-to-back nights. And one of those post games, Derek Jeter was like, "No, man, you gotta you're Mookie Betts. Like, basically snap out of this mentally, not like playing better." But they give a lot of crap about the Fox baseball post game show. I actually like the show. My friends give me crap about it all the time because they think Jeter should be replaced. I like Jeter. I don't think Jeter necessarily needs to be sitting at the table with like A-Rod and Poppy and those guys. What I think they should do with Jeter is, you see how NBC kind of does Michael Jordan, and they do the Michael Jordan, Mike Tirico, like sitting down talking about the game. I think that's what they should do with Jeter, and then like move him off the panel. Yeah, but because he's just that good, I think Jeter's very interesting. He's just not like a guy that's gonna like do the Kenny, Shaq, Chuck thing as well as some of the others. But I say all that to say, Mookie Betts isn't done. I think he is, obviously first ballot Hall of Famer as well. But I think he definitely has a couple more years left.
Yeah, that's dope. And I had to be in this last postseason and some of the end of the baseball season. I was into the post game and the pregame show. Poppy is
Love
hilarious.
it. I think it's great. I really do think it's great.
A-Rod had that much of a sense of humor. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let me ask you guys. Do y'all like A-Rod? Tell the truth.
I love him.
Do you like A-Rod?
He said no.
He pushes the ball every once in a while, and I'm like, yeah, I see what
I like him as a commentator. As a player, meh.
See, here's the thing. He's obviously a phenomenal player.
I'm a Rangers fan too, so I'm better.
So what is so funny about that post game, especially folks that know kind of the history between Jeter and A-Rod, is that like A-Rod to this day is still like trying to impress Derek Jeter. Like he's just trying to like be his friend. You know what I mean? Like, I want Derek Jeter to really like me. And I get it, because a lot of people want Derek Jeter to really like you. Right. But he really wants, like, Derek Jeter to really like him. And Jeter is not the type of person. Like, he's just not. If you watched all 9 innings of the captain or whatever they did, he is not, like, the type of person that's going to be like, oh, no, A-Rod, you're cool. We're cool now. Jeter still remembers every little thing that irked him between A-Rod and Jeter, like throughout history, throughout their years. And, if you watch it closely, every once in a while, you'll see Jeter just like smack him. Like it was like he's still smacking him. And I'm like, so I find that dynamic interesting just watching it. Poppy, on the other hand, it's really funny because Poppy really doesn't care, and Jeter doesn't really care. Like, it's a different relationship, but it's also, I think it's entertaining. The gold standard is always going to be inside the NBA and those guys. I don't think anybody is going to come close to that in our lifetime. However, I told some of the other folks, like, as far as a sheer entertainment value, I think the Fox post game guys are pretty close. I mean, I think they're good. Like, I think they're worth watching. I can kind of highlight parts of that Fox post-game, pre-game show way more than I can, like, say what ESPN basketball does, or, you know what I mean? Like I really like those guys.
I mean, especially if the Yankees lose, then Poppy just loses it.
Right. It's just good. I really like Dontrell Willis. Dontrell Willis does some stuff with that crew. And on the TBS broadcast, I really like Curtis Granderson. I think they should figure out ways to get more voices in on that show. But, I mean, you can't go wrong. A-Rod, Poppy, and Jeter are like, holy grail of baseball players there. So
I mean, you got the two Yankees and you got the Red Sox. It's the rivalry dynamic. They
good.
play off each other really well. So
And Poppy don't care. That's my thing.
Poppy just does not care one bit, and I love it.
It's funny with the inside the NBA guys, or Poppy be pulling out bottles of liquor. Like, yeah, where they go? They going to Cancun, man. They going. Everybody.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. But you know what?
They ain't even going to Cancun. They're going to Galveston.
Right.
Right.
Alan
and April, I know you got some questions. Who wants to go first with their line of questions? Real quick?
April, go ahead.
Mine's going to completely change the topic. So, you want to go first? All right. So, what team do you like?
What team do I like?
Yeah.
The Orioles. Orioles are my favorite team. Orioles and Nationals. I'm in Virginia.
Okay. So, since you're in the same division as this, you'll probably remember this. Remember when we had Tanaka starting pitcher?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was height of COVID, and he got hit in the face, got injured, and then some other stuff happened. But he didn't renew his contract. We didn't try to re-sign him, and he went back to Japan. That was the last major signing that the Yankees, international signing that the Yankees have had. I knew it wasn't. Yes, it was. That's major.
Major international sign. Okay.
So we had a chance to get Ohtani. We knew it was a long shot, but we had a chance. Like, we were in the conversation. We knew it was a long shot, but we were in the conversation.
Mm.
We actually had a really big chance to get Yamamoto, especially with Cashman's meetings with him. And Cashman was in Japan a lot, watching him play. So we actually had a really, really, really big chance to get him. So seeing what he did in the World Series, it just makes me even madder because we didn't sign him. So, I don't know if you remember this, but one of the big reasons why Tanaka went back to Japan, and he's been back to Yankee Stadium since, and he was very low-key, very undercover, did not make his presence known that he was even in Yankee Stadium when he came. At the height of COVID, he experienced a lot of racism in New York.
Mm-hmm.
They talk to each other. Japanese players, they all talk to each other. Look what happened. Yamamoto went where Ohtani was because they talk.
Mm-hmm.
How was the experience there? So with our last major signing, Game Tanaka, and he left because of a racism issue in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And now everybody's going to LA.
Hold on, wait, there's racism in New York?
There was. I'm not there, so I don't know. But at the time of COVID, because yes, they're Asian. Yes, it was a lot of racism against Asians.
Yeah, if y'all don't remember.
And so I get it, and he didn't feel safe, and he wanted to make sure his family felt safe, so he went back to Japan. And he even said if he ever came back, he would want to only pitch for the Yankees, and I respect that. He's one of my favorite pitchers for us. Not my favorite, but one of my favorites. So with that being said, and that being our last major signing, and that's how he left, realistically, because if they're not going to us, they're going to Toronto. Do you see any Japanese players in the next 5 years going anywhere but LA?
Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, we signed Suganu, Tanahaki Suganu in Baltimore this year. I mean,
he got one in Texas too.
He was older. He's not as dominant as Yamamoto. He's not like, but he's.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, on that level.
But yeah, no, I mean, I do. I think that one, there's going to be more talent than there are going to be teams. So I mean, I don't think all of them are going to just end up on the Dodgers. I don't think you can do that. Like, there's not going to be enough spots there. Now, one of the things that I was I don't know if they're actually like 100% tied together, but they're close, because one of the things that even before Shohei came over and signed with the Angels, right? Shohei was very adamant that he wanted to be on the West Coast. Very adamant about that. One of the reasons he wanted to be, so no matter who was kind of shopping around, the idea was that they were going to end up on the West Coast. Yu Darvish just got announced that Yu Darvish is out for the season again, but he's a Japanese pitcher, pitched on the WBC gold medal team along with Shohei and those guys. He's out in San Diego. He's a Padre. A lot of these guys, community-wise, are going to feel more comfortable on the West Coast. Whether it's San Diego, LA, even up in the Pacific West Coast of, Seattle or somewhere like that. They're going to feel more comfortable there than they would in a big city East Coast team. Definitely, in this, they're not going to feel that very much comfortable in the South or even some of the Midwest stuff. So I think ultimately the answer is the more that come over, the more they're going to be kind of more, Asian pitchers and Asian players will be more spread out. But, if there is word of mouth, if you will, or the top players talking to each other and they say, hey, you might not want to go to New York, they may go to New York, but New York's probably going to have to overpay them. They're going to have to make deals that are above board that they just can't turn them down. You know what I mean? That's what's happening.
You're gonna have to make it work.
And that's what's happening in Toronto. Toronto has to overpay for everything.
And last season, Hal did not want to open up pocketbook and didn't want to spend money. This season, I hope he actually does. But he even said it last year. He wasn't overpaying. And now look at what's getting ready to happen. I mean, that's 2 years in a row Dodgers have won. We have holes to fix, but you could fix the holes. You have the money. You choose not to spend the money. So at what point do you start acting like your dad and not like yourself? Take players, get the Yankees back to its glory. I mean,
it's tough, right? Yankees won the World Series last year. They've got a lot of talent. I mean, we got to remember that Garrett Cole was hurt, right, this whole season. So you're looking at Garrett Cole coming back. Hopefully he's good. You're looking at Rodon, who pitched really well. What's that?
So just to start out, Rodon had surgery. Garrett Cole is not going to be ready for opening day. Rodon's not going to be ready for opening day.
Right.
And somebody else is not going to be ready for opening day. So, yeah, we're already starting off.
You're already starting off. But Luis Hill and then the young boy, Schlittner, is who you guys are going to be really excited about, right? So, the idea and again, they did spend – I will give the Yankees credit for a couple things. They spent money on things that just didn't work out, especially on the back half of that bullpen, right? I was champion. I was one of the leading guys talking about Devin Williams is going to make everybody forget about Clay Holmes in New York. And he was awful this year. He was awful. And they're probably, if they haven't got rid of him yet, they're probably going to trade him or get rid of him. You guys had the Stroman thing, right? Marcus Stroman at the beginning of the year. Didn't pan out, right? And then at the trade deadline, right? You rehauled your whole bullpen. Bednard, Duvall, you guys got guys at the trade deadline that were supposed to be good for the back half of that rotation, which was really needed. And none of those guys really panned out in the Yankee bullpen after the trade deadline, right? Bednard
did.
Yeah, Bednard was okay.
No, Bednard did. He saved us a couple games. He saved us.
But I would say of those deals, right, Bednard was the guy that was the most serviceable. But it was like every night, you guys know, it was like every night you guys were like, But by the time it got to the 7th inning, 6th, 7th, 8th inning, you guys are holding your breath. Like Yankee fans were holding their breath. And so, I mean, I get it. I do think that they have the potential to be one of those teams that makes a deep run in the playoffs, but things got to go right. You guys got seasons from Trent Grisham and Jazz Chisholm that I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know if you're going to get those seasons in 162 games next year, especially Grisham. And I like him. I think he's really good. Jazz had a great season. I like him. I think he's really good. But there's just a lot there, man. We got to figure out some things. But I love watching the Yankees play. I'm an Orioles fan, but I love watching the Yankees play. So I watch them a lot.
They want me to. I have a question about the lockout, but real quick, just personal question.
Yeah.
So my birthday is the day before opening day. You know, the Yankees we open on Wednesday. I think so. Rodon's out. Cole's not gonna be back. So I think we're at Freed to open for opening day.
Yeah, he's really good.
Should I go? Go San Francisco? Okay.
Absolutely.
With Freed? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was hoping that Cole was gonna be back, but he's not back. So
Freed was phenomenal this year. Freed was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, he won a Golden Glove.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah, Yankees will be fine. I think that they got enough pitching depth to where they can hang in there for the beginning of the year, and once everybody starts coming back, they'll be back to form. So I like. Yeah.
So with the owners wanting salary cap, the players not in agreement, and everything else that's going on, especially with what's happening with Dodgers salary and all that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how close do you think we are to an actual lockout after next season?
I think we're really close to a lockout. I think we're much closer to a lockout. So 9. I think we're much closer to a lockout than we are anything else.
I would say blown out 10.
Yeah, I think
after the Dodgers winning Game 7, I think we're headed to a full blown out lockout.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you on this one. This one is hard. I don't think this one. There's some stuff where you can really look at, kind of the sides that people are on, and you can see, even if like the world can't see a solution, I take that back. Even if the parties involved can't see the solution, normally an impartial party can look at it and be like, this is ultimately where you're going to get to. You just have to be willing to sacrifice and give and so forth to get to X, right? This particular labor kind of ownership dispute is so tough that I can't see how they're going to come out of it. Clearly one side's not going to completely cave, but usually people are going to look at this and kind of be like, oh, they're going to argue for a long time, but this is where they're going to meet in the middle. This is not sports related, but there are reasonable people right now today that can look at kind of the government and say, ultimately they're going to end a shutdown because they're going to get to here. And people can see it. They understand it. Baseball, I think, is going to be harder than the government shutdown. That's how hard this is going to be, because the owners are going to want a hard cap. They're looking at all the other sports and saying they have a hard cap. We need a hard cap for competitive balance. And the labor guys and the players are going to fight that tooth and nail, because a hard cap obviously limits their earning potential in a day where you are giving players, 14 years, $750 million, right? So like you're not gonna look at that and then say, oh no, you're starting to cap now, like when I'm coming up. So
Yeah.
I think and I mean there's shared revenue, there's TV money right now. One of the things that I didn't know, but one of the things that's happening right now is that all these postseason games, right? The players do get extra money for playing in the postseason. Do you know where that money comes from?
No.
The money that
Where?
the players get for postseason, their bonuses or whatever, incentives, come from the ticket gates. They don't get any money from all of the money that comes in from the media deals in the postseason. So
half the teams don't even have TV deals. Like half the Major League Baseball teams don't even have TV deals.
Right. So they're looking at not just salary cap and floor. They're looking at revenue sharing and getting, extra incentives from postseason games because they're adding, more postseason games and rounds. And so it is going to be a real
Okay,
fun.
hold on, pause.
And like we mentioned earlier, we're not even having an ESPN deal anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. So players only get their bonuses from ticket sales?
Playoff bonuses come from the attendance gates. Yep. Not the.
That's why playoff games get charged so much. That's why playoff games get charged so much.
Is that why the World Series started at $1,000 last year? Tickets started at $1,000.
I mean, look, there's some supply and demand there as well, right? Like the low budget World Series between us and Arizona was still like almost four figures. Yeah, I mean the World Series is tough because it's not for casual fans, right? It's you're especially if you're looking at New York and LA 2 years ago, and then LA and Toronto this year, you're not getting in the building for under $1,000, right? So it's tough.
I was trying to go to one of the games, and the Ranger ticket for Globe Life Field was like $1,200 for nosebleed.
It makes it impossible. Again, by the time you get to the World Series, though, it's not for like taking your family to the ball game. It's just not.
I mean, I know that, but still.
Yeah. No, it sucks. It sucks. I've written about it last year.
Wow.
The games in Yankee Stadium last year, I was writing about how impossible it is for any family to attend those games. You don't even have, you don't have to have a lot of kids.
I'm in a lot of Yankees fan groups, and there's a lot of season ticket holders in there, and they were saying like before it was affordable to go to playoff games, like they could get their seat where they normally sit for their season tickets, and I mean they know they're going to pay more, but it was actually obtainable. They said last year,
not anymore.
It wasn't even possible.
Yep. And I mean, again, the Yankees are the Yankees, but there's also like again the effect, the Dodgers effect, and the international global market that they bring everywhere they go. The Dodgers went to Miami and was like the highest record attendance this season in Miami in like the history of their stadium. Because the Dodgers.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. They're international global rock stars at this point.
That's why whenever people ask me if they want to go to a baseball game, I just like go to a minor league game. Minor league games are cheap. They're local most of the time. You can take your family out there. Like it's much easier to go to a minor league game than it is actual baseball game.
Yep. I encourage people to go to both. Like one of the things that it's always encouraging, I think, is when teams are good, especially teams that are like in urban cities. When they're good, you do start to see more like diversity and more like black families and at the stadium. New York Yankee Stadium is different. Yankee Stadium's always had a really large, diverse population, whether it's black families or Latino families or but like Baltimore, when the Orioles were bad, I'd go to Orioles games and you wouldn't see black families there, in the stands for a while. Like, and last couple years when the Orioles have been good, sans this year, last 2 years when they made the playoffs, you'd go to the Orioles games, go to Camden Yards, and you would see like mother, father, 2 kids with gloves, and and it was like, that's awesome. And you forget, like, Cleveland, Detroit, Baltimore, these are cities with a lot of black families, but they just, they don't go to the games a lot if the team.
Yeah.
So real quick before we move on, I just want to ask one. I only got one question, and it's been bugging me because we do a baseball show on Wednesday nights, and this is one of the topics we talk about is who the hell's winning the AL West next year? Because looking at it, Texas has a chance. Seattle looks like the best chance because they have the best roster. Yeah. But the Houston Astros are still the Houston Astros.
Yeah, exactly.
Texas top to bottom is pretty good.
No,
I don't trust the Angels. The Angels are dumb. And then even the A's, you could say they have a slim chance.
Yeah, I mean, look, Houston's Houston. You just don't count them out until it's really, really over. Houston, up until last couple weeks of the season, we're still really, really. I think they were leading, and then they were in play until just about the end. And if you look at what the Astros did, they were just decimated with injuries. Like, they were decimated. There was some talk about the manager and then the general manager, Dana Brown, if by them missing the playoffs, were they going to be able to come back? And you look at that roster from top to bottom and see how many injuries they had, and you're like, oh man, you got to give them another year. And so, I mean, always watch the Astros. If the Mariners are able to keep, Suarez and Naylor, Randy, Cal Riley, you're not going to get another Cal Riley season like you got this year. But even if you get 75% of that, it's the best catcher in the American League hitting wise and catch. So Mariners are going to be there. Astros are going to be there. We'll see about the Rangers. That's probably the team I would think might take a step back. And then I do think the Athletics, even though like they're playing you're talking about visit a minor league baseball game, they're playing in a minor league baseball stadium, and it feels that way from top to bottom. So I just don't see them taking the next step while they're playing under those conditions in Sacramento. So
they are playing a couple games in Vegas next year, I believe, in the Vegas minor league park too. So
yeah, it's still they're. I feel bad. Lawrence Butler is one of my guys, and I feel bad for what he has to endure with the Athletics. I mean, he signed an extension. He's gotten paid. Congratulations to him. He's fantastic, but he's locked in for the long haul with the Athletics.
My thing is like, because I'm in the same division. I'm a Rangers fan, so it's like I feel like the Angels and the A's are just competing to see which ownership group is worse. Because the Angels can't draft players and build a roster to save their lives, and then we all know what's going on with the A's and their relocation to Vegas situation.
Their owner's really bad and really done a disservice to the Athletics. I'm worried about the Rangers advancing when Bochy's gone, right? Tony Beasley's gone, the other the longtime third base coach there now. Simeon, who I love, is old. He's older. So I mean, I think there's just some real. You're gonna have to put together some.
There's been talks that if they're trying to save cap, they might try to trade Simeon out.
Yeah,
because they got enough infield prospects with Josh Smith and a couple others that they really, really like. That I personally really, really like. That they would feel comfortable. Hey, we can probably move Marcus Simeon. Because they don't want to move Seager. But that might have to happen. That might have to happen down the road. But I wouldn't want to move Corey Seager. If one of them was going to go, it's going to be Marcus Simeon.
Yeah, absolutely. Simeon was bad at the plate this year. I think he's
not a bad defender. I think he won
nominated for a Gold Glove second. But Yeah, but he was bad at the plate this year for a Marcus Semien, kind of what he's been doing the last couple of years. Then you look at again, I don't know if it was injuries or health but if you look at the age, he's older than people think. Is he mid-30s, 35, something like that?
Yeah, he did miss a good chunk of time too.
Yeah.
Just for the love of God, don't put Josh Smith at first base ever again. Don't do that. I love him. He's a great player. He's a great utility guy. Just don't put him at first. Go get you a first baseman so that way you don't have to deal with that.
Hey, look, I got one. I got the last question I'm gonna ask because somebody just sent me one of those videos and I'm like, hey, look, maybe I should ask this question. So, in real life, right? At one point in time, baseball racially was somewhat Hispanic. They would bring a lot of Dominican players, a lot of Cuban players. So now we got the Asian wave going on. Is this the next wave of us having Asian players coming from, Japan, China, like we were talking about earlier with Averill, and then are we going to have that be a more spread out thing? Because of course, monetarily, I heard you guys talking about it. Like, a place like New York is going to have to play a pretty high ticket, right? Everywhere else is going to catch up to the Dodgers eventually, especially maybe if they level the playing field with this agreement, or if they do agree during the lockout.
But what I understand. What's your question though? Is Asian players kind of the new wave of?
Yeah, is that going to be is that going to be more so the new wave possibly? Because of course, like I said, years ago, I remember there was a huge Dominican players, Hispanic coming in. The Asian players going to be the new commodity to a degree, especially the big ones.
This is what I'll say.
Or is it old? Am I missing the first wave?
No, I mean, look, this is how I kind of view it right now, and kind of the makeup of Major League Baseball, if you will, from demographic standpoints, is African American players, American-born African American players are like 6%, give or take. Asian-born players that have come over internationally from Asia right now in Major League Baseball is about 16%, give or take. That number does creep up a little bit from year to year. Latino players are about 30% of the league right now, give or take. That number, kind of jumps up, fluctuates there. And then the rest is obviously white players, which is still the majority of the league. So, you put 6, 16, and 30, you know what I mean? That's just barely kind of the majority of the league is still, white players. The challenge is 100% doesn't change. And so what I mean by that is, especially for our community, I'm always asked, like, can we get our African-American number from 6% back up to where it was in kind of the glory days of the late 80s, early 90s, which was around 20%? And the answer is I don't see a pathway right now for that, because when black players were at 20%, the Asian players were under 1%, and the Latino players were it was 3%, right? So when we talk about the increase in globalization and diversity in the game, the biggest group that has suffered is African American players, right? So because you look at the numbers down, and like I said, 100% doesn't change. I don't think you're gonna go backwards in regards to what you're talking about, like Latino players and Asian players. It may not rapidly increase like it has over the last decade or so, or even 20 years, you know what I mean? But it's not going to really go down that fast either. I do think you will get African-American numbers will probably go from 6 to maybe 7 or 8% over the next couple of years. If you're really doing something numbers-wise, maybe 9%. But the challenge with our guys is they don't really Justin Dean was the kind of defensive emergency center fielder for the Dodgers this World Series. he gets put in the bottom of the ninth inning for defensive purposes. He doesn't really even – they don't even put him in situations where they think he's going to come up to hit pretty much ever. Justin Dean is basically an anomaly for black players in Major League Baseball. Because usually the black players on the team are either, a star like Mookie, right? Look at the Dodgers. You had Mookie as a star, MVP at shortstop. And then the Blue Jays didn't have any kind of American-born African-American players. George Springer is has some, Latino heritage there. His dad is, I think, Afro, I want to say Panamanian. It's either Panamanian or Colombian, maybe. But I say all that to say, we don't get the luxury of being like the utility guy off the bench very often. We're either got to be starting lineup, superstar, or prospect with a rocket, right? And so I do think that that changes things, and I think some of the other demographics get a little bit more leniency. You see a little bit more, especially with Latino players, a little bit more flexibility in the infield. We need a utility player that's able to play anywhere in the middle infield, right? And they managers seem to be a little bit more amenable to allowing those slots to stay. So that's a long way of saying I think the numbers will probably stay close to where they are for a while. Hopefully we can see a little bit an increase. One of the things that's just a real deficit is African-American pitchers. You don't see a lot. You see a lot of Latino pitchers. You see a lot of Asian pitchers. You see a lot of white pitchers. You don't see a lot of African-American pitchers, either in their starting lineups or in the bullpens. That's a place where I think we can really make some strides over the next couple of years. I don't think we've had a black starting catcher in the Major League Baseball since Charles Johnson, maybe for the Marlins. Chucky Robinson's an African-American catcher. He played a couple games for the Angels this year. But there's some places within the game where I think we could see some kind of demographic shifts, but it's I don't think there's going to be that much flexibility. But we'll see. Optimistic. I like the diversity. Obviously I run a website called the Black Baseball Mixtape. I want to see as many of our guys in those positions as possible. But it's a process, and I think there's a ways to go.
Note to self:
Springer's half Panamanian, by the way.
Yeah, it's his grandfather. So Springer's an interesting case, right? Because really quickly, George Springer's grandfather immigrated to the United States from Panama. He's an Afro-Panamanian. His mother is Puerto Rican. But George Springer himself was born in Connecticut. His father was born in Connecticut. So his grandfather was the one that immigrated from Panama. So for somebody like me, I like George Springer, so I'm going to follow George Springer on the mixtape anyway. But it's an interesting dynamic because George Springer, when you talk to him, he considers himself black, but he also considers himself Hispanic. And I don't necessarily he would not consider himself like an African American. No. He's black and he has Hispanic heritage. So it's like for a guy like a journalist like myself, it's like, how do you cover George Springer? And it's so it's interesting.
Yeah, it's a conundrum. But
it's a fun one. It's not a bad one.
It's a fun one. I mean, as Miss Avrils has New York ties. I've met Dominicans who will look you in the eye. I'm not black. I'm not black. No. So right. There's Africans in a lot of the Hispanic bloodlines. So right. I get it though. But hey, still, Black Baseball Mixtape, you got to talk to him, right?
No, I love it. And I mean, there's to other people that we deal with as well. there's players that are like the Palacios are Puerto Rican. I think their mother's Puerto Rican, their dad's black, and they were born in New York City. Like they were born in Brooklyn or the Bronx. And it's like if you talk to them, you would think you like they're black. You would think they're American born black players in my mind, just from just being around them culturally. You know what I mean? And it's so I mean it goes all kinds of different ways. It's all and it's I think that's what makes baseball great. I think all of it is what makes baseball great.
And thank you for helping come on the show today, man, and make baseball great for the RecRoom Sports. Wait, real quickly, man. Do us a big favor. Shout out your socials so that the people can get to know you a little better, my good sir.
Yeah, it's just Black Baseball Mixtape on everything. It's YouTube. Instagram's our biggest platform. I think on Twitter it's like B-Ball Mixtape, but if you just type in Black Baseball Mixtape, you should be able to find it. And yeah, man, I'm excited about the all season. Like, so from, I would say from really before the All-Star break up until the last game of the World Series, we were doing reels every day, recapping every game, like recapping like Black baseball news every day. And that's long. That gets tired. That's a lot of work. And so as we go into the off season, we'll be doing a lot of podcasting, but I won't have to like stay up late at night looking at box scores and highlights of 16 different games. So that's good.
And for sure, brother, as someone who follows you along on social media, like I love the journey that you take us on as you are kind of a fan watching the games, your perspectives. So I'm in there, like as like I said, as a casual baseball watcher, I love to say, hey, I know that guy. This is what he told me. Okay. So once again, everybody, make sure you follow our guy, our family member. You know what it is, man. It's Chiefs from Black Baseball Mixtape. Chiefs, we appreciate it. You know, whenever we're on base, we know who to bring to the plate. And that's why we give you a call. And once again, dog, you did it. So
look, thank y'all, man. Every time I appreciate it. Thank all of y'all, April, everybody. Thank y'all so much, man. It's always a pleasure to be on.
Most definitely, man. Hey, man, you enjoy the rest of your night, brother. We're gonna go ahead and go to the bullpen and bring our other guys who've been warming up, ready to get it, man. Thanks so much, bro.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Man, so we did it. First hour is crushed. Thank you again to Cheats from Black Baseball Mixtape. We did that. That is what we do. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe because we don't do this all the time, ladies and gentlemen. But when we have guests, we do make sure that we knock it out the park. Once again, we got AP in the building. Alan, what's going on? You just or before the show, you got finished with your other show on the mat with Mr. First Down. Big shouts out to Sam. Tell us a little bit about that wrestler show while we get our bullpen warmed up.
So yeah, every Tuesday night on Let's Talk Sports, Sam and I talk professional wrestling. It'd be about 40-45 minutes, and then hopping on here, and then of course also doing Lock It In on Saturday and Sunday here on RecRoom, talking college football, soon to be college basketball with that starting up, and then NFL on Sunday, and then tomorrow night we'll be talking to baseball. So getting into some off-season talk, which should be fun.
Gotcha. And of course, Miss April, I'm seeing the militant look right now. This is probably the first. I think you cracked a smile during the baseball conversation, so I can't wait to get into why you have on the black today. I think that's going to be a great part of the show. Are you going to be hanging with the Audible guys this weekend? Shout out to Bobby G and the Audible Sports podcast where life and culture meet sports. Are you going to be hanging with the guys today on Thursday or Friday after the game?
Yep. So every Thursday after Thursday night football, 10 minutes after, we recap the show, go over our picks for the week, and do our top 10. So yeah, every Thursday.
By the way, I told y'all the Cardinals were going to beat the Cowboys. I called that a mile away.
Oh man! So of course, the funny thing is, y'all,
I should change my pick.
Hey, look, Alan be knowing, bro. If we're going to talk about the Audible Sports podcast, we got to bring in the man. That's right, y'all. Cleveland's home, but Las Vegas is on. Bobby G. Bobby G, what's good? Welcome to the show. Hey man, Bobby. So we know you got the historically black baseball bloodline, don't you, bro?
Yeah, my great uncle Mule Suttles is a Negro League Hall of Famer and Baseball Hall of Famer.
Okay. Let's see. Look
So,
at that.
and did you just give me the Shaolin Temple gong?
Yeah, man. We gotta welcome you in like a master. We gotta bring you on like you got on the robes and all that good stuff, man. So it's wild how we had the whole hour set out, but of course we brought it in with a bang with Chiefs from Black Baseball Mixtape. So make sure you guys check him out when you get some time. And dog, listen, right about now is where we get into the heat of the battle, when we get into the crux of the show. I'm going to go ahead and get it going because somehow, some way we got to get 2 hours in. We got our guy Champ in the background. We're going to bring him in shortly because we're going to go ahead and get to it. But you know what we do, man? NCAA weekend just passed. We got another Give Me Five with Alan. Alan, what you got for us today, bro?
So honorable mention. Obviously, we got our first CFP ranking today. One notable thing is a team that is not ranked in the top 25 is in the playoff right now, and that is the Memphis Tigers. Obviously, because they're the best group of five team. Which honestly, you ask me, they should be ranked because they do have an SEC victory. They did beat Arkansas this week. They did beat Arkansas earlier in the year, and they are the best group of five team right now. Although I would say North Texas has a play for that as well, but that's neither here or there. But the first one, we're going to talk about Virginia because right now, if the season ended today, the Virginia Cavaliers would be representing the ACC in the college football playoff. Think about that for a second. The Virginia Cavaliers. This is just how crazy the ACC has been so far this season. Because obviously Miami losing again. This is what we've kind of expected from Miami because they've done this the last few years now. Georgia Tech lost as well, so kind of a surprise there. Clemson's been a disappointment. SMU not the same as they were last year. The entire ACC is down, and again to the point where right now the best team in the conference is Virginia. Again, let that sink in. Virginia, great story too. Great story from Virginia this year. They've been playing some pretty good football this year. So hats off to them. Season ended today. They'd be playoff bound. Unfortunately, they'd probably be playing they'd be playing Ole Miss. So yeah, that's not good. Anyway, so now let's go to the SEC for this one. Texas puts on a show. Obviously, Vanderbilt fought back there at the end with maybe some help from officiating crews because, the SEC officiating crew can't have a perfect week. No, they can't. They have to be controversial in some way. But, Texas was dominant. Texas was dominant. Oklahoma going into Neyland Stadium in the blackout game. Great showing from them. It's not far-fetched to think that these two teams can still make a run, especially if John Mateer's fully healthy for OU. Arch Manning's looked a lot better in the last couple of weeks. Texas is still in play for the SEC championship. These two newcomers are making some pretty good statements this year. Oklahoma's definitely improved from what they were last year. Texas has gotten better over the course of the season. They got Georgia still. Oklahoma has to go to Alabama next week. So we'll see after next week how these two teams are. But so far, so good for the newcomers going in. Oh, boy. UConn's bowl eligible. They have not been bowl eligible in a long time. In fact, I think the last bowl game I remember UConn being in was the Fiesta Bowl back when the Big East was still a thing.
Wait, hold up, wait. And if I'm not mistaken, do we know
they might have been? Yep, they might have been last year, but they've been an independent since the Big East broke apart.
Y'all remember who the quarterback was back then?
I cannot remember. It's been a while.
ESPN's very own Dan Orlovsky, ladies and gentlemen. Crazy.
Mr. Run out of the back of the end zone himself.
Hey, but Orlovsky was a bad boy at UConn. Okay, I don't know why.
If I remember correctly, they were an 8-5 team that year and only went to the bowl game because they won the Big East. The Big East realignment, all of that killed that conference entirely. I mean, they're still good at basketball because a lot of the Catholic schools are still in the Big East and they play good basketball. But the gutting of the Big East, that's something that needs a 30 for 30, honestly, is the complete gutting of the Big East and how it completely changed the course of college football going forward. But yeah, kudos to UConn. They've won 6 games this year. They're bowl eligible, first time in a while, unless they did it last year. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's been a while since we've seen UConn have really any kind of success in football. So good to see them doing well.
And just for me going to do it real quickly, Dan Orlovsky's bowl legacy at UConn was the 2004 Motor City Bowl against Toledo. UConn won 39-10. Orlovsky's stats was 239 yards, 20 completions on 41 attempts, set multiple records for the game performance at that time. And that was a historic moment for, of course, UConn football, because that was their first bowl appearance after transitioning to a 1A school. So, yeah, shout out to Orlovsky out there in the streets.
So for the second one, if I get to it here, because I don't remember the kid's name, we're going to go to North Texas because this is an interesting story. I only found out about this Friday, I want to say I found out about this. North Texas has had a pretty good season so far. They're 8-1. They're second place in the American right now. Their quarterback has had an interesting journey in his college career because I can't even say that last name, so I'm not even going to bother. Did not play football in high school. In all of high school. Did not play a single. His first experience in high-level football was this season. He is a true freshman, walk-on, 0-star recruit, did not play football in high school. And, no, you'd probably think, he's pretty good. He's doing well. It's an 8-1 team. Yeah, he's only leading the country in passing. His first official full year in a professional-type setting in football. So, I'd say not bad for a walk-on. And yeah, North Texas, as I mentioned earlier, they're in a fight for that American Conference, potentially a group of 5 bid there for the college football playoff, which unfortunately no teams are ranked right now, but Memphis should be, if I'm being honest. And then finally, Julian Sand. I watched Ohio State's game last week against Penn State. Not because I was intrigued by the matchup or anything, but just because really there was nothing else on. So, but I was very, very impressed with Julian Sand in that game. Only 3 incompletions, 4 touchdowns, a near perfect passer rating. I know people are going to say Ohio State's had a soft schedule. It is tough to play in the Big Ten. These teams are not going to make it easy for them. Julian Sand, to me, should be in the conversation for the Heisman. I don't know if he is. Obviously, you're gonna look to Jeremiah Smith first because he is the playmaker. He is the guy that they look at. But if we're being honest, the Heisman is a quarterback award. It has been for a while. I think you got to put Julian Sand in that conversation as well.
Well, look, hey, you just saying, right? I got to throw a little something in the ring. So, of course, everybody knows I'm down here in Jacksonville, Florida. One of the biggest things that I saw from this past weekend in college football was definitely the Florida-Georgia game that was right here at Elder Bank Stadium. Jacksonville pretty much shuts half of the city down just for this one game as Georgia fans and people on the other side of the border invade downtown Jacksonville, and it turns into like a weekend festival full of all kinds of sorts of debauchery. Of course, Georgia won, fortunately, but unfortunately, for depending on how you look at it.
What's it called? With the world's largest outdoor cocktail party or something like that?
Yeah.
Because, Georgia fans and Florida fans are bougie. I don't know if y'all know that, but Georgia won 24-20. Of course, right now, Georgia is 7-1, but 5-1 in the SEC. Florida's 3-5, 2-3 in the SEC. But of course, all of this came after Billy Napier was fired from his position at Florida. Now, check this out, guys, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, but if you had to pay me three annual installments on July 15th for the next 3 years of $10.4 million, you can send me home, bro. I'm going to go to the crib, dog. I'm good. I'm straight. Yeah, July 15th, I ain't even coming to campus. I ain't going to homecoming. I'll burn all my paraphernalia. $10.4 million, one of the largest buyouts in college football history. I'm straight. But the point is, not to joke about a man losing his job and, a position of status. The idea was the team did play spirited. Florida struck a big 40-yard touchdown pass. DJ Lagway, shout out to him. He gets a little love from time to time. Somewhere in there, Georgia responded like they normally do. Gunnar Stockton, we know he made a big name for himself last season. He's back. Dylan Bell's back. And then somewhere in there, we got Chauncey Bowens with the 36-yard touchdown run. Who knew? But in the end, I thought one of the biggest things was Florida's defense showing up unlike it had not, or somewhat like it had not in the past couple of games, which led to the firing of Billy Napier. But in the end, there was a lot going on. Florida's kicker with the 54-yarder. I could go on and on and on, but for what happens really, really close to me in my vicinity, Florida, Georgia was it, and it was worth the wait. But once again, Florida, unfortunately takes an L, man, and there you go. And so it's we got a little love. We got a shout out to Georgia once again. Shout out to Florida, and then of course, hey, who knows what's gonna happen next, right? Anyway, as we keep it moving. Now, Alan, we appreciate you for the Give Me Five. You've been rocking those out, but this is something, and I think I might as well even do the honor of talking about our guest in the background. Now, on other shows, he is well versed. He has a complete cadence and knowledge of a plethora of sports, and somehow, some way, we get the pleasure of having conversations with him about numerous things, and he just brings it every time. So as I get myself prepared to do this, I just want y'all to know that he's in the back getting ready. For me, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and let's put them numbers up. Y'all got to understand, when we bring in guests, with the flavor. This one in particular, look at that guy. I was like, bro got the wife beater on. It is not a game, okay? And of course, the followers are up, the numbers are up, and everything is good. So big shouts out to the Sports PSP podcast and our next guest. One time for your mind, man. It's our boy, none other than the undisputed world champ. Champ, what it do? Right?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, man. Right on cue, man. Georgia Bulldogs. So, champ, your perspective of the game from this past weekend in college football, man. Georgia, Florida. I know you had your eyes on it, man, because it was a little closer than what the score suggests for a good minute, man. So, what was your take on that?
Lagway is going to be a good quarterback, and he's going to play on Sunday one day. He's the only stick of glue keeping that team together, and he's far better than Anthony Richardson was, way better. And so there's a lot of controversial calls out there. I'm just going to keep it all the way a buck. Last couple of weeks, there's been some. I'm glad they suspended the last ref because there was a lot of questionable calls. I am a Georgia fan to the core, but there was a lot of questionable calls during that Auburn game. And that last one, that last catch, there was a little bit of controversy about that. So they got to work on the officiating on that. But that forward pass, it was not a fumble. It was a forward pass. But when you talk about a couple of very, very ticky-tack calls on both sides, I would say, yeah, they got to fix the refereeing on this thing. But all in all, good game. You had to come from behind. Offense was stagnant at the beginning, but we are a second half team. But, when we go play Texas and then we go to Atlanta and play Georgia Tech, we can't be a second half team. We got to play 4 quarters. So, especially when we play Hayes, King, and those guys. So, I'm glad they won. But at the same time, there's a lot more to be desired. We're not as good as we were back in 2021, 2022. Our defense is not as dominant as it was back then for us to be falling behind the way we are now. So we got to work on playing all 4 quarters rather than just being a second half team. I know that Kirby Smart and the team prides themselves on being a second half team. We saw examples of this previously. We saw this in the Natty when we won the Natty. We saw this in the Oklahoma game during the Baker Mayfield year. We was a second half team. We were down 20-3. We've seen examples of this, but we're not on the defensive side of the ball as good as we were back then. We don't have the athletes and we don't have the depth on the team in order to hold the teams to that deficit. One of the biggest things that helped us when we won the Natty from Alabama was the defense. We were able to hold them to field goals when otherwise would have been touchdowns. But we're not as good on the defensive side as we were previously. We have to work on that. And look, just want to say one thing, man. Hurricanes, how y'all like that gift we sent y'all? How y'all like that gift we sent y'all? Only cost you $4 million. Only cost you $4 million. Big old interception at the end. Wow. Now you know how we feel. Only difference is y'all ain't going to the college football playoffs. We did. So I hope y'all like that gift we sent y'all down there to the Hurricane State. Enjoy that puppy that we sent y'all because he sure ain't a bulldog.
I already knew what it was. Like I've been saying, he's the only thing holding the team back. Like we have the pieces to win the national championship. Or let me take that back. We have the pieces to lose the national championship game because Ohio State's just more talented than everybody else in the country. He's the only thing holding us back. Give us any other quarterback, and we're still undefeated.
This is Sparta!
I was going to say, Champ, ask Texas how they feel about the SEC officiating after last week.
Oh, look, there's a lot. Like I said, they need to – the way they suspended the guy, I think his name was referee Timothy or something like that. The way they suspended him and he was on the verge of retirement and he just went on ahead and retired. They need to do that more often. And I mean across the board in every sports. When they start suspending these referees, they get it right.
Been awful. Officiating this year.
I mean, look, especially in the W, you want to see some horrible, officiating, watch the WNBA game. I encourage you, if you want to see some horrible officiating, watch a WNBA game. I promise you will see the worst type of officials you will ever want to see. But it does. Like I said, once they start suspending these officials and everything like that across the board, like they did in the SEC last week when we played Auburn, because that was a bad call that we made. That was a touchdown, and Kirby Smart was not clapping. He was calling a timeout. Let's just keep it all the way real. I'm a Georgia fan to the core, but we're going to be honest. But once they start suspending guys and you're suspended without pay, you're suspended for the rest of the year, you'll fall in line and you'll fall 27 stories. And then you know what? Once y'all start suspending these referees and get some sanctions on them, they'll start calling the game right. You won't have to worry about the FBI watching the game.
Yeah. In Ohio State too. Caleb Downs should have been kicked out of the game. I'm sorry.
Caleb Downs, that was a blatant targeting, and they were like, "Oh yeah, no, it's still a personal foul, but it's not targeting."
You know where his father's from, right?
Georgia?
What is that?
His father went to Spencer High in Columbus, Georgia.
Oh.
Played for the Atlanta Falcons back in 1998 as well.
Look at that. Look at that. And he got it. He got it in his blood in there right there. But gentlemen, the funny thing is, I forgot. I remiss to say this. As we talk about congratulations from this past weekend, I must mention to congratulate our boy Champ for becoming Security Plus certified. I didn't forget about that. Handling your business, not only on the podcast world, but in the classroom as well, bro. We celebrate you here at the RecRoom Sports, bro, because that's a big deal, man. Real talk, man. How you feel about it now that you got that monkey off your back?
Yeah, because I failed the first time I took that test. I'm just gonna be real with you.
Hey.
I failed the first time I took that damn test, but I failed it by a small margin. I would just be real, but that was good. But unfortunately for me, my favorite accomplishment is the next accomplishment. So right. It's an addiction. Once you achieve something, you want it over and over and over. So I understand how superstar athletes feel. When you achieve something, you want to keep achieving, and you want to set the standard for yourself. It's great, as good as I'm doing, I could be greater. So you can always be greater, and you can always got to hold yourself to a standard and be humble. So I'm very, very humbled, and hey, there was a lot of prayer and a lot of God please involved in that. A lot of God please, because when you're going through that, it is terrible.
Listen, man, you're not alone, bro. Sometimes you got to invoke the Lord when you take them tests. All right, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, y'all, we might as well go ahead and keep it moving. So another thing, like we always talk about, man, this is the best time in the sports lovers world, because right now we just ended baseball, but something else popped up in the place of baseball that, of course, we're going to have to keep our eye on. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is NCAA men's college hoops. That's right. It debuted just yesterday. Some games were played, but a lot of them, of course, right now they don't really mean too much. But it's not even about that. It's about getting ready and prepared for the college season that will be. Somewhere in here, there's a storyline that includes the idea of dynasties. We talked about the Dodgers, the Florida Gators right now, not just on the football field, but also on the basketball court, are looking to dominate and try to do their thing as they somehow figure out a way to make it not just into the big dance, but capitalize on returning a lot of their front court. And somehow, some way, this is a possibility, of course, based around the fact that, hey, those boys was good last year, but the NIL money is kicking in, fam. We can stay. You want to stay? You talk to your homeboys, y'all playing 2K, and then you go, man, you know what, man, I think I want to stay one more year. What about you? And your boys say I'm gonna stay. It's one or two of them, of course, that leave. But for me, the idea is, look, Florida's national championship hopes are right there where it can be, but then you can't forget about the other Final Four teams. Like the other three rather, which would be Houston, Auburn, and Duke. Right now, revamping themselves for the 2026 year. Alan, as we are cranking up for the 2025-26 season of NCAA, what you got your eyes on right now, Big Dog?
Well, I mean, not a good start for our two of those four teams. Duke losing already in Paris to Baylor, and of course, I'm sure Jay's excited about that. He's thrilled to see Duke lose.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Florida, defending national champion, losing to Arizona. So we're already seeing the NIL effects take place here. Arizona getting the big win over the defending champs. So, team I'm keeping an eye on this year is Kansas. Will Kansas be back to their form? Will they be back to the top of the Big 12? Will they be the title contender we think that they can be with all the people that they bring in? Bill Self, obviously, is still there. Them, Texas Tech, obviously in the Big 12 are the teams I'm going to keep an eye on. Obviously, I'm going to watch my team, but Kansas to me is going to be the team that I keep an eye on this year to see are they going to be back to form in 2026.
Yeah, man. Bobby G, eyes on NCAA. What about yourself? Who you got your eyes on this season?
Really just players. I didn't care about the teams. It's just looking at players.
Right.
I want to see what the Boozer kid is going to do. His debut is pretty well. The band, excuse me, AJ DeBanza, of course, and
we got to look at him last night when he took BYU took on Villanova. I watched the pretty much the second half of that game.
Yeah, I just want to see who's gonna, because ain't no Cooper this year. There's no Cooper, there's no Zion. So let's see which one of these guys is gonna rise to the top and claim that spot as that number one pick in the 2026 draft.
I feel you, dog. And then of course, Champ, I gotta ask you, as you are a sports watcher, and I know college basketball not right up there in your forte of things, but is there anything you keeping your eye on for
Cameron Boozer?
Okay.
Cameron Boozer.
Boozer twins, either one of them, Cam and the brother. I'm with it.
Yes. And I'm a UNC fan to the core. I love the North Carolina Tar Heels. But when I first saw him play, I said, "Oh, I think he had 23 points and 26 rebounds one game." I said, "Good God,
that's
a monster."
Yeah, he put up numbers like his daddy. Yes, sir.
Yes, that was nasty. So,
kid's polished.
Well, when he came to LA, we started calling him Carlos Loser.
Oh man,
we came to LA.
Oh man, well, hey, look, he was. If you didn't catch that Utah Boozer or that Chicago Bulls Boozer, those were two different animals. But that Utah Boozer was one. That the Chicago Bulls Boozer was another one. But in the thought process of what goes on in the college basketball world, and similar to what's happening on the football field, y'all, I'm excited to see a lot of the movement that these players have done, and some of the players that actually decided to stay. JT Toppin, Yaxel Lindenborg, I believe. Mm-hmm. The guy, he's at Michigan, went from UAB, really big standout there. Trey Green, shout out to him out there at Xavier. Donovan Dent, I think left New Mexico and went to UCLA, if I'm not mistaken. Then of course, Darren Peterson at Kansas. We know what's going on with that. Koa Pete, Braden Burries, Arizona, Zach. There's so many different players that we can kind of just throw in there right now, and so many other teams. Baylor's got guys again. Somehow, some way, Baylor finds their way to reload the teams, and then we just slowly, get to see about get to hear more about Big 12 teams. So I'm excited for the college basketball season to go ahead and get its way underway. As you know, right here on the RecRoom Sports, we go where they don't go. So make sure you let us know who is your college team. We will be talking more about this as we go forward because, turn to like games from the Maui Invitational and all that stuff will be happening very shortly. So we'll definitely be revisiting this more coming up. Now, of course, as we get ready to talk about some of the things that we know for sure, for sure, we got some of the highs and lows from the week 9 in the NFL. And I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, there was some highs and lows. And as I get into that, I must bring back in our good friend, Just April. Just April, how you doing? Thank you for joining us for this one. I don't know where to start, gentlemen. So let's just go ahead and kick it at the top. So there were some really good games, some really close ones, of course. And then there's another game that's a possible, candidate for game of the year. That, in my opinion, that took place this past weekend. So where should we start? Alan, like normal, you got your eye on one or two games, of course, from week 9. Tell us where you going with it.
Listen, I said this earlier, but I told y'all Dallas was going to lose to Arizona.
Oh,
I saw it coming a mile away. This happens all the time. Every time we play Arizona, something happens. We just for some reason, we cannot play well against the Arizona Cardinals. Did you know that the Cardinals are 3-10 lifetime on Monday Night Football? All 3 wins are against Dallas. All 3 wins.
Ew. Ew.
Yeah, we
That's
cannot play the Arizona Cardinals for whatever reason whatsoever. As soon as I saw Arizona Monday night, I was like, well, there's an L. Doesn't matter how bad Arizona is, we're taking the L in that one for sure. Yeah, I was not happy. Not happy about last night. And then, of course, the night before the Sunday night game, why the hell is Jaden Daniels still in the game in a 38-7 blowout?
Not you too.
Why? Now he's out for the year. Have fun, Washington. That's what you get.
Oh, so I was researching today. They do not have him out for the year. He needs to be out for the year. I mean, did you see his arm? But they don't have him listed as out for the year, which is crazy to me.
Miracles of modern medicine.
It's just an elbow dislocation.
I was going to say that.
That looked more than just a dislocation. It looked like a full blown.
What do you mean, just an elbow dislocation?
Just an elbow dislocation.
I was going to say in real life, that point is we didn't see because his elbow went behind him, and I didn't even know it was that bad until they brought out the air cast and showed the different angle of the whole tackle. So
yeah, why are we still showing this? Like, it's gruesome enough that it happened live on TV, but don't continue to show it for Christ's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Let the weirdos on the internet find out on Twitter. Jesus.
Did we forget Ronnie Lott severed his finger at halftime to play in a football game? It's just an elbow dislocation. That's it.
Did he chop that thing off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good God.
Just
like it's no different than somebody's shoulder popping out of place. It just happened to be his elbow. Like, it ain't that bad. As far as him in the game, like, what do people not understand? NFL quarterbacks do not come out of the game. I don't care if it's 7-0. I don't care if it's 107-0. NFL quarterbacks don't come out of the game. Like, people act like this is a normal thing. No, it is abnormal for the starting quarterback to come off of the field for any reason, no matter what the score, no matter what the situation, no matter who the opponent. The only time an NFL starting quarterbacks are not in the game is in Week 16. If we got the division wrapped up, we got our seeding taken care of, and all of our business is handled so you can get ready for the playoffs. Other than that, starting quarterbacks are in the game. Like, that's football.
I listen, bro, and I get it. And
I'm sorry, but with the amount of money that they pay them now, if you are getting blown out and there is no way in hell that y'all are coming back, take that quarterback out. I'm sorry, take that quarterback out. No.
Either that or play in a different stadium, for Christ's sake.
I mean, it's really this, man. The ghost of RG3 and what happened to him is lingering, and you have to.
Here's the other thing. A lot of your favorite quarterbacks, a lot of them NFL records, guess what? A lot of them numbers came in garbage time. So no, they ain't coming. They're playing for bigger stuff. Yeah, the money's the money, and that's going to translate from era to era. Starting quarterbacks are never going to. They just don't come out of the game.
Right, and see, for me, like I said, it's a big deal. It happened. You know, like you said, it was a dislocation. You know, he's going to sit some time out, and hopefully he'll be able to get back to himself. That's the main thing. Because, of course, here at the Rec Room, big shouts out to Jay, but we are Jaden Daniels supporters. Anyway, other games that took place that I thought were actually worth keeping an eye on. So, the Bears and the Bengals, y'all. This is one of those ones where if you didn't know and you didn't have a clue, this is a game of the year candidate. Somehow, some way, Caleb Williams went out there and led a last-minute drive to stun Cincinnati after the Bengals had taken the lead. A lot of back and forth, very little defense at all. But if you know anything about Cincinnati and Chicago, there's no defense to be found in the first place. Chicago's offense went off for 31 fourth quarter points. Caleb Williams is out here doing what he does best, orchestrating a really good last second drive, and then boom, including the game-winning touchdown in the last 12 seconds. Jamar Chase and Chase Brown definitely went off in the locker room to show and voice their frustrations to the locker room and the coaching staff. So there's a lot of noise going on in Cincinnati, and part of it, I'm sure, has to do with the what's the good word? The defense holding up its own, holding up its end of the bargain. And then somewhere in there, I think a lot of people are sleeping on the idea that Joe Flacco, Uncle Joe, comes out here and throws for around 300 yards, bro. And it does, and is doing well in the Cincinnati Bengals uniform. The best thing since Joe Burrow got hurt is really a 38-year-old man, and I definitely have to give credit to that one. And show shout outs to the Bears for coming back in that game and basically taking candy out of the baby's mouth because it was technically won. But then the Jaguars won in an overtime classic against the Raiders. So big shout out to the Jags, 30-27. We know what happens pretty much with the Seahawks. We know with that. But then the Ravens, 28 against the Dolphins, 6. The Vikings and Lions, that was a good one as well. Minnesota pulled off a key NFC North upset, and big shouts out to J.J. McCarthy making some noise on his return. Patriots, Falcons, like this was a weekend for good games. Patriots beat the Falcons 21-23, another nail biter. And of course, if you thought that we saw a lot of Travis Kelce's girlfriend, just wait till we get a hold of Patriots wide receiver Stephon Diggs' girlfriend in the stands every 20 seconds because we gonna see Barty. All right. Cardi B, of course, was all pretty much everywhere doing the little celebration dance, the little oral farming thing that everybody wants to do now. So she was out there with Robert Kraft. So it was a lot going on this weekend in the football world, but somehow, some way, we also I would be remiss for me to not have brought my guy Champ on here and not talk about this because it was that important. So I'm about to do it, y'all. I'm about to do it. Hold on, wait a second. Did y'all know that the trade deadline was going to end at 4:00 and somehow magically people was just going to be traded left and right from about 8:30 this morning? Not even 8:30, from about pretty much since like 7:00 this morning. Players were getting traded all the way up into the trade deadline, which is very rare for the NFL. It's very rare that this many trades happens in bunches. These many first rounders are being passed back and forth. Somewhere in there, I gotta ask, and we're gonna go through them individually, so don't go through the individual trades yet. But Champ, are you surprised at the amount of trades that have taken place this trade deadline?
No, indeed not. Teams are trying to get better fast, and teams that know that they're a dumpster fire, they're trying to unload themselves and get themselves back squared away. I'm just being very, very honest. The Jets, unfortunately, they knew they were a dumpster fire, so they're trying to rebuild very, very quick. And considering the great players that are coming out of college though over the course of the next couple of years, especially the quarterback position, they're trying to make sure that they're loaded up in order to make their team better, get better fast. This is probably the best trade that anybody has made that they've made as far as getting picks. These is by far the best trade that anybody has made since the Ricky Williams trade. When the Washington Commanders got an entire draft and 1 and 2 the next and 1 and 3 the next year. This is probably the best that anybody has done as far as getting a haul. Now the thing is this: the difference between that Washington Commanders team and the Jets right about now is you don't remember anybody from those two drafts. The truth is a little murky. Everybody says that they got taken, but the truth is a little murky. They did not turn themselves into a dynasty like you were supposed to. When you have double in every single round, and then you have double the next year in the first round and then the third round, you're supposed to turn yourself into at least a playoff team. Unfortunately, for the Washington Commanders, they did not. Now, the Jets are able to sign great players. They're able to draft great players. We've seen it over and over. They drafted one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time in Revis Island. They drafted Jamal Adams. They drafted a little bit of everyone. The problem is they can never get set on two things: the coach and the quarterback. Those are the two problems. So the minute that they fix the coach, which I think Aaron Ginn is a good coach, they just need some talent, and they fix the quarterback, I think you're going to see a lot of great things. They've drafted great offensive line. You saw it. You saw the late, great Nick Mangle. You saw Kevin Maway. You saw the Brickasaw Ferguson. You have seen them draft good receivers. You saw them draft Keyshawn Johnson. You saw them get Wayne Quebec. You saw them get a multitude, Lavernius Coles. You saw them draft Lavernius Coles. You saw them in free agency get good players. Curtis Martin comes to mind. Antonio Cromartie comes to mind. Bart Scott comes to mind. A lot of great things happen in that organization. The problem is they cannot find that one coach or that one quarterback, not just good enough, but to stay healthy for a long period of time.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. And on that note, we will review said trades, and we will let the other members of the RecRoom Sports crew give their 10 cents, man. So just in case you don't know, and I see you, as I can see the steam coming off of Miss April right now, so we definitely got to let her get her 10 cents in. So of course, Sauce Gardner was traded to the Indianapolis Colts for 2 first-round picks, along with Adonai Mitchell. Why it matters, of course, Sauce Gardner is 25. He's an all-pro corner. They got $120 million extension, and the Colts basically have one of the best secondaries when they already had a top 10 defense. Second, Quinnen Williams, interior lineman, nose tackle, if you will, leaves the New York Jets and goes to, guess what? Hey, Alan, goes to Dallas. All right, so from New York to Dallas for a 2026 second-round pick and a conditional 2027 pick, which, if you don't know, conditional means it will hinge upon the number of wins or a set number of incentivized maybe tackles and or sacks that Quinnen Williams has yet to negotiate, which will determine where that 2027 pick is in that draft. Of course, right now everybody's been losing their mind in Dallas when somehow, some way they traded another big defensive player away to the Green Bay Packers. We're gonna talk about that in full. We're gonna let Alan have his. But now, of course, no more Micah Parsons. We got Quinnen Williams there. The interior lineman is going to be prevalent in the Dallas trade. What's really going to happen for their defense, which, of course, we know for a really long time, Dallas has been having issues full-fledged. And then as we continue on, Jalen Phillips to the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's one of the ones I wrote down, for a third round pick, somehow, some way. You need an edge rusher? Here you go. Miami's about to start unloading players too. Also, Logan Wilson to the Cowboys, Jair Alexander and Michael Carter to the Eagles, Adofe Oweyu to the Chargers, Kyle Duggar and Keon White to the Patriots, Joe Flacco, we already knew that already happened. And then boom, 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 they'll punch a bunch of other teams who are rebuilding. So they're going to be offloading players, especially in the offseason. But for now, trade deadline is what it is. So first off, let me let Bobby get in there, because I'm gonna let you have it, Abram. I'm gonna let you do your thing, but you and Alan are in the places where I want to hear the most from. So Bobby G, as you took a picture of the landscape with the trades, bro, how did we come to this point?
It looks like April's voice finally reached New York.
Oh my goodness.
She's been begging him to sell the team. He's doing it. He's just doing it one piece at a time. That's all.
Sell the
Uh,
team.
but yeah, I mean that's one of the more interesting trade. You know, NFL trade deadline really ain't really like that.
It don't really be like that.
Yeah, that's an NBA thing. It was I didn't lie, the Sauce Gardner one that kind of I did not expect that. That came out of left field for me. And it was a lot of smart moves, man. A lot of smart moves. It was like nothing financially, just like every trade seemed like it was about winning football games. And like that's what a trade deadline should be. Don't be financially driven. Oh, we got to save. I mean, even in the Jets situation, yeah, it looks like they took the L, but no, just like Champ said, they got a lot of capital to rebuild and turn this thing around real quick. So it's like every move was strategic. Every move was about making your team better, either for today or for the future. So, yeah, man, it was it's probably one of the more productive trade deadlines in any sport I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
like all around, where it was like one team didn't kind of just win. It was like everybody who made a deal, was justified and got what they needed.
Man, I like that. I like that. They were all justified. Everybody kind of is getting something out of the deal. Not one person really got fleeced or paid too much or overgave. You know what I'm saying, for these moments. So, in this case, I have to give the floor to a good friend of mine, man. I know she's feeling it right now, Miss April. As you relive the moments as your phone was going off and we as friends were contacting, we were concerned about your well-being. We wanted to make sure that you were okay. Tell us your emotions as you relive the feelings that you had about these trades. So do me a favor, please.
You tell me. You tell me.
Tell me how you feel, please. Let me know.
So, whoever approved the Sauce Gardner trade, they were on fire. I wouldn't piss on them. Yeah. The anger is rising again. So, I'm at work, drafting some documents, and my phone starts going off, and I see Sauce Gardner's name. I don't buy jerseys very often, and I've only bought one jersey since we went back-to-back in the AFC Championship. That's number one, Sauce Gardner, and my favorite player just got traded. So, put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but it's really hard not to pay attention or watch it because it's still like vibrating. And then I see Quentin Williams' name come up, and I have two phones. One phone flew across the room. Yeah. I hate Woody. I've never detested a person so much. They hired a lackluster GM who came from a mediocre front office that barely had a winning season, and you completely dismantle a team that Joe Douglas put together that had our quarterback not rupture his Achilles, who knows? or if they would have let Salah do what he needed to do and let Hackett go, we would have had a different season with Zach Wilson because we would have had a comparable OC. I am so tired of defending this team. It is exhausting.
Damn, Slade. You sure know how to piss on a man's
I don't want to talk about rebuilding. Like, you just re-sign these guys, and then you just trade them. And I get it. You're getting picked. So fucking what? There were other players that could have been traded. Not Quentin Williams, not Sauce. Like, and now Brees doesn't want to be there, so you were supposed to try to re-sign him in the offseason. That's not going to happen because he wants nothing to do with us. So, yeah. I'm done with this team. Until Woody sells it, I'm not a Jets fan anymore.
That was deep, okay, and I know I appreciate you just being able to emote just that much, so that's why I gave you the stage for that one, because I know as a diehard Jets fan, to see those names go across the screen, not just any names, but two of the original kind of like building blocks to what 2 to 3 years ago we as just fans of football thought that this was what was going to be the rebuilding pieces for the New York Jets. And they're gone now, and they're going to more prominent teams. And somewhere in the conversation that I was listening to, and I want to refer to Champ on this one real quick. If you were Quinn Williams or Sauce Gardner, who are going to two teams who are both over 500, possibly both of them playoff bound, are you now rejuvenated? Are you going to play harder? Are you going to play better? You're going to give it your all again? Are we going to see a new rejuvenated Sauce Gardner? We're going to see a rejuvenated Quentin Williams in this. And whenever we do get an opportunity to see them in both the Cowboys uniform and the Indianapolis Colts uniform.
If I'm Sauce, I'm rejuvenated. I really am, because I just went from being 2-7 to being 7-2, having one of the best records in the league.
We're 1-7. We're 1-7. We had a bye week this weekend. This was my easy weekend. It was supposed to be easy breezy. I wasn't supposed to be going through this bullshit this weekend. Sorry. 1-7. 1-7.
I'm just playing. But yeah, I'm going from 1-7 to 7-2, going to a division leader at this point. Now that CJ Stroud is hurt, I don't have to worry about nobody yipping at my heels, because I don't have no faith in Trevor at this point. And Cam Ward, he said it best, they buns at this point. So yeah, I mean, I'm rejuvenated. Plus, I'm joining a top defense. It's not like I'm coming in and I'm the only defensive player. This trade that, I don't know if y'all remember this trade, right? Do y'all remember when I think it was in 1983 when back then it was the Los Angeles Raiders. They already had Lester Hayes. They already had Lyle Alzado. They already had Howie Long. They already had Rob Martin. You know, the Mad Stork. Y'all remember that team, right? And then at the trade deadline, they went and got Mike Haynes.
Yeah. Hey.
And then they had Lester. Then they had one of the best cornerback combinations, arguably in the history of the game. You had a Hall of Fame on one side in the form of Lester Hayes. Then you had Mike Haynes on the other side. And all of them was being taught the bump and run defense by the late, great Willie Brown. That is what this is equivalent to for the Indianapolis Colts. That is equivalent to that Mike Haynes trade by the Los Angeles Raiders back then. Because they could definitely make some more noise. You have another shutdown corner as part of a great defense. And you have you have two potential league MVPs on your team. You have Daniel Jones and you have Jonathan Taylor in a very easy and winnable division. Very easy, very winnable division. You don't really have to worry about anybody this year in your division. Other than, I will say, maybe Trevor Lawrence. They don't have an offensive line down there to protect C.J. Stroud down there in Houston. Right now, Cam Ward, we know he's a good quarterback, but unfortunately, he's going through his growing pains in Tennessee. Trevor Lawrence, there's a lot to be desired. Even with them going out there and getting Jacoby Myers. Because people are saying, look, conventional wisdom, Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter when he comes back, now Jacoby Myers. That's supposed to be your trio. You have a posse type receiver core once they're back up to full strength, but there's a lot to be desired there. So the only team you really have to worry about is a team that you really don't have to worry about. So if I'm Sauce Gardner, I'm excited to go to Naptown. Matter of fact, when I get there, I might even go to me a Pacers game. I'm going to go meet Caitlin Clark. I'm finna go meet everybody I possibly can when I get up there. Because I'm excited about joining this team and we could potentially win a bowl. If I'm Quinn Williams, by the way, I just went from one circus to another.
Uh-oh. We gonna let our good friend Alan comment on the three-ring circus, which is Dallas. Now, of course, Alan, you know, you're a pretty honest guy, you know, and I would be remiss to remind you that in the trade done for Micah Parsons, you got Kenny Clark. So now you got Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams holding that interior down. What are your expectations after the trade happened? And Jerry, who is my best good friend, my good buddy. Everybody knows Mr. Jerry. Everybody knows Mr. Jerry Jones might be going through dementia, but he ain't going through dementia that bad to not make these trades happen this morning. Okay.
Hold on, real quick. Do you think that was the trade that he wouldn't announce last night?
Nah, I really think that would happen. The first one was probably the Cincinnati one. It was because that's why they did it. I got I'm listening to Unsportsmanlike in the morning. They did that at like 7:40, like 7:45. They was really just letting that one go. So that probably was happening last night. I think the Quentin Williams one probably might have just crept up on everybody. I think the whole, from what I was hearing, and this is me after work, from what I was hearing and what I was reading, the whole Sauce Gardner, Quentin Williams, Jets thing really started taking place around like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The Jets had made a full-blown decision on what they were going to do. But when they made the first one, they immediately made the second one because they knew that when the domino fell, you might as well do both because, you know, top playing defensive players like that, they both more than likely wasn't going to want to stick around and one went and the other stayed. So that was how it went. But back to you, Alan. As a Cowboy fan, what you thinking now? You got the boys lined up, and it makes me think about, you know, back in the 90s with what's Charles Haley, right? Charles Haley. What Champa historian?
Yeah, the Haley trade.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, Charles Haley. But go ahead.
I am not upset by any of what happened today. Because if I'm being honest, defense actually played pretty well last night. For, you know, the entire secondary being injured, no linebacking core to speak of. Pass rush was good. They got after Jacoby Brissett a lot last night. Only problem is you couldn't score on offense. You don't turn the ball over. You make your at least if you make a field goal on at least every possession that they either didn't get the fourth down or turn the ball over, they win that game. They did enough defensively last night to win that game, but they didn't do it enough offensively. This was these moves. All these moves today were to completely restructure this defense. Because, again, half of these guys are out with injury. The entire secondary is out with injury. So you shore up your defensive tackles by getting Quinnen Williams. By the way, have fun with Mozzie Smith. He's meh at best. That was one guy they were trying to get rid of. So they got rid of him, got an upgrade there. To me, you got an upgraded linebacker because I like Logan Wilson more than I do Jack Sanborn because he's been terrible this year. You're getting your best player on defense back next week into Marvin Overshone, who's coming back off of injury. You're getting Donovan Wilson back off of injury. You're getting Wanye Thomas off of injury, getting Malik Hooker back off of injury. So the bye week couldn't have come at a better time for the Cowboys, especially on defense. So now you completely upgraded your defense. Oh, by the way, they got Kwity Paye too, so that's another defensive piece that they brought in. So I don't think it's going to be – it'll be better than what it has been. I don't think it's going to be world-beating by any means. But I'm interested to see what happens when DeMarvion Overshone comes back, because if he can take over that Micah Parsons role, I think the defense could definitely take that next step that they need to. And if the offense gets back to form with the way Washington's playing, you could still be the second best team in the East easily.
Wow. Okay. Still be the second best team in the East. This is crazy. And then once again, it has remnants of that Charles Haley joining the Cowboys, and then somehow, some way, their defense.
Yeah, the only difference with that is Charles Haley was already joining an established defense that had great players on it.
For sure. And Charles Haley was already a wild man coming from the 49ers organization. I don't know if y'all saw that Cowboys documentary on Netflix, but yeah.
He was a terrorist.
Yeah, Charlie.
He was a terrorist. Good
He
God.
was a whole another type of, him in a suit on that chair, just kind of being calm and then talking about himself in third person. That's scary to me. Okay, because I don't know what Mr. Haley will do, but I'm interested to see where these trades take us. I really want to know when. A lot of times, when these trades happen, players take about a week or so to get themselves ingratiated into the defense. Even though Sauce Gardner is somebody you could just throw out there and go, hey man, hey, this is you, and he could probably play corner anywhere. I'm interested to see how long it's going to take them to put them out there full time and get the guys ready. But yeah, man, thanks for everybody for hanging out. We're going to go ahead and do what we do. Thank you, Averill, and thank you, Alan, for your analysis. But and Champ, you're going to stay for the last thing. We got one more. You know how we do, right? Okay, so we covered a little bit of everything, y'all. So I can't wait to get into this one. Big shouts out to Jay checking in. I feel as though he just left, an ale house of some sort. Maybe he's drinking stout. Maybe he's drinking Guinness today. Maybe he left the light beer alone. I heard 1942 was involved at his last stop. 1942, y'all know what that is? Like 30.
The Julio.
That $35, $37, $38 a shot. Hey, Avery, you used to pour drinks. Remember them days?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So big shout out to my guy Jay, and big shout out to the Rec League, of course. If you don't know, the RecRoom Sports crew is involved in a fantasy sport league where we basically try to embarrass each other week to week. And you can catch Alan, who gives us tips on how to embarrass each other, with the rest of the guys, Tanner and Uncle Scott, on Lock It In. Lock It In. That's right, Lock It In on Saturdays and Sundays between the hours of 9 and 11 a.m. You can get your lineup set up and get your bets in with the guys from RecRoom Sports. So let's go ahead and do it, y'all. Y'all know what time it is?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The fifth topic.
All right, y'all. So we here, man. We've been pushing it. This has been a great show. Big shouts out to Cheats from Black Baseball Mixtape for holding us down that first hour as we got to talk about series. But I think we got to turn the show over to the people. That's right. The people that put in 10 cents on the show have a say in what we did, and what they did today was RecRoom's Midseason Superlatives. That's right, Bobby G and Alex style. So what happened was, y'all, it's the middle of the season, man. 9 weeks in, and we've gotten a better idea of who does what on both offense, defense, and all the way around, because we've got a chance to see some really, really good teams. We got a chance to see
Everybody but Dallas. I see that. I see what everybody but Dallas.
You're talking about, oh yeah, well, what was the deadline? Yeah, Jets, Jags, Seahawks, Colts. Shout out to Jay for that one right there. Somehow, some way, in my opinion, there have been some standouts, and I've given the reins to my dog so we can figure out exactly what we got going on. So first and foremost, we gonna let Mr. Allen, that's right, AP, go first, and let's see what you got over here, Allen, and then Champ, everybody else, y'all be ready to judge this list, okay? And I want to give a big shout out to my dog Bobby G for the background. Wow, okay, I like this list. Allen, this is yours. Your superlatives, bro. Go ahead and talk to us.
Matthew Stafford's the MVP, especially after the last couple of weeks. 5 touchdowns in London, 4 touchdowns last week. Doing all this with, I don't know what kind of medication he has in his back right now, but it's working. He's playing great. Rams are tied for the top spot in the NFC right now. They could be right now. They're probably the favorite to come out of the NFC, if I'm being honest, because you don't know what Packers team you're going to get every week. You don't know what Detroit Lions team you're going to get every week. The Seahawks right now, they're young, they're hungry, they're feisty, but you don't know what's coming out of them quite yet. Right now, with the reliable quarterback, reliable receivers, and a very good young defense, I would say the Rams are the favorite. Matthew Stafford is the MVP in my opinion. Although I would like to put Jonathan Taylor up there, which is why he's Offensive Player of the Year, because he has single-handedly almost carried that Indianapolis Colts offense. He's been great. He's on pace to have one of the best running back seasons we've seen in a very long time. And it's going to help a lot of the running back community as well. So Defensive Player of the Year, I know that the popular answer is always Myles Garrett, and he is the best defensive player in the league, but I got to go with Nick Bonito right now. Has anybody seen what Nick Bonito's doing in Denver right now? Because I know all the talk's going to be Patrick Surtain because he is the top corner in the league, but Nick Bonito's having himself a year. Leads the league in sacks. He's got a lot of great tackles for loss this year. Big part of why that defense has been playing so well this year. Hats off Nick Bonito. Shane Steichen, Coach of the Year, obviously, with what he's done with the Indianapolis Colts, turning that team around. They were picked by a lot of people to finish last this year. There was no identity there. The whole Anthony Richardson situation. Now here they are. They're the best team in the division. They just made a massive trade. They look like they could go into the postseason and even compete with teams like Buffalo and Kansas City. So they got the tools to do it. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Right now, the most impactful rookie has been Emeka Egbuka. A good chunk of the season, you don't have Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. There's been literally, other than Kate Otten and maybe Bucky Irving when he's healthy, there has been nobody for Baker Mayfield to throw to. And Emeka Egbuka has stepped up into that role. He's become essentially the new number one. He will eventually take the number one spot over once Mike Evans decides to hang him up. So I like what Egbuka's doing. Shout out to Cleveland, though. Carson Schlesinger, Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's been playing great, especially the last few weeks. There's not really a standout for Defensive Rookie of the Year right now, but if there's one guy that has caught my eye, it has been Carson Schlesinger, so I'll give him credit. And I know people are going to get on me for this. Dak Prescott, take away the last 2 weeks. He's been incredible. There's been talk of him being in the MVP conversation. But really, he is the odds-on favorite for comeback player of the year, and it's not even close because of obviously him being out for the majority of the season last year. He's playing on an otherworldly level. Again, take the last 2 games out of it. Even still with all the stats, let's be honest, he's going to become the Cowboys' all-time leader in passing yards this season. He is going to pass Tony Romo here within the next couple games. He's already passed Troy Aikman. He's number 2 right now. So he's going to pass Tony Romo here within the coming weeks. Most improved, and probably the guy who's a lot of people's MVP right now, Drake May. Drake May, great, solid year last year. He's got a great head coach now, Mike Vrabel. He's got weapons he can throw to. He looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Doing very, very well in his sophomore season. Again, a lot of people have him as their current MVP, which is kind of surprising, but it is viable. And game of the year, I mean, there's a lot of candidates to pick from this, but the best one I've seen all year has been those Ravens. I mean, there's been anything, in my opinion, that has really topped that. People want to say the Bears from yesterday. That's just too bad defense. Going there, rearing their ugly head. Let's be honest about that. I want to put Jonathan Taylor MVP, but I know with the way the voting system is and with how great Matt Stafford's played, I figured that would be the way to go. But yeah, game of the year, Bills Ravens from week 1.
All right. So as we look at Alan's list right here, guys, let's take a quick pick. Does anybody have a discrepancy? Anybody? Discrepancy? Something they don't like?
Comeback player of the year.
I
expected that from the Cowboy hater. So
I think Brian Burns has a chance to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive player.
Yeah, I really think Brian Burns has a chance to be. I'm not disagreeing with that one. That one you have is good, but I think Brian Burns has a legitimate chance to win Defensive Player of the Year. I think he has. I'm looking at it right now. I think he has a total of 11 sacks right about now. Yep, he's leading the league in sacks right about now. Right behind him is Myles Garrett. So I really think that Brian Burns, although he is on a losing team, he has a chance in order to win that, especially if he can, bring that sack record in New York at this point, because he has the potential in order to break the sack record that was set by Michael Strahan. And guess what? Wouldn't be the first time that we've seen a losing team have the Defensive Player of the Year. We saw it. When Michael Strahan broke the sack record, when he had 22 sacks. They had a losing record. And we saw it in 1992, I think, when Cortez Kennedy from the Seattle Seahawks won the Defensive Player of the Year as well. They only won 2 games that year.
Okay. Any other discrepancies in the join? I heard a Brian Bird shout out. April, Bobby, you got Bobby. You might say
of course.
Coming up next anyway. So you don't even.
Yeah. No, I just want to set it up. Alan, you're wrong, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, let's go. Oh wait, we got
Joe Alt is a rookie.
This
is his second year in the league.
We talk about a handful of rookies,
and he's also out for the year now. So
he's out for the year as well. Yeah, he's out for the year. Him and Rashawn Slater. Rashawn Slater. Yeah.
Thank you, Alan, for your superlatives, my good friend. Now let's go ahead and get to it, man. The man, the myth, the legend, Auto Bobby G. Let's go.
Yeah, so, I go where other people are afraid to. I had the balls to put Jonathan Taylor MVP because he's the damn MVP. Like, it doesn't matter what traditional or how voters vote. You can't deny what the dude is doing. He's the best player on the best team playing the best football in the league. Offensive Player of the Year, Baker Mayfield. You know what he's doing down there in Tampa with all the injuries. And unlike Matt Stafford, Baker right now is the 2 seed to Matt Stafford's 4th seed, or 5th seed. So there's that for you, Alan. Defensive player, it's Myles Garrett. It's Nick who? Nick Knight? No, Myles Garrett. He's the best defensive player in the league, hands down. And it's like, I believe Myles Garrett actually has his eyes on that sack record, because that's the only thing we got going for us this season. Let's face it. Coach of the year, we both agree on. Offensive rookie of the year, I actually think it might get shared this year between Dubuque and Quinshawn. Quinshawn's creeping up. Remember, this dude missed. Quinshawn. Remember, this dude missed the entire training camp and preseason plus week 1, and is leading all rookies in rushing yards and I believe touchdowns. Basically, if it wasn't for that first game, he would have more rushing yards than Abuka has receiving yards. So you want to talk about impact as a rookie. We both agree on Carson. He's like really the only rookie defender showing out this year. Comeback player of the year, you're absolutely wrong. Dak Prescott is the only one. Aiden Hutchinson, sir.
Yes.
What are you talking about? Dak Prescott. Most improved player. Again, what are you talking about? It's clearly Daniel Jones. Who in the world predicted Daniel Jones to have this type of season? Drake made most improved. Dude,
I mean,
even
take
I
New York
kind of
out of
agree
it.
with
Take
that.
New York out of it.
It's
And
Daniel
I
Jones.
don't like Daniel Jones, and I kind of agree with that.
CJ, you're doing too much. It's Indiana Jones. You tried to make up a new stop. No, it's Indiana Jones. Just let it. You can't recreate the wheel. And what was that? In Denial Jones? Come on, son. And the game of the year was the Browns game this Sunday. Oh yeah, they didn't play this Sunday, right? They saved us all from watching very, very bad football. So that's the game of the year.
That's lovely.
Good one. Okay, y'all. As we look at this one, we're gonna take a peek at it. Once again, Bobby G, thanks for the graphics. These joints are awesome, bro. We appreciate you taking your time out and helping out the crew. Alan appreciates it. Are we in disagreement with anything? I like this one though. I'm with you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Even with a Watt on my team in particular, I may be able to.
I'll be honest, I completely forgot about Aiden Hutchinson, so that one's on me.
Well, why is nobody picking Mike Vrabel as the coach of the year?
I'm not even gonna say Mike Vrabel
because it's.
I mean, I'm just being real because that team only won like a handful of games last year, and they're ahead of the Buffalo Bills and the reigning MVP at this point.
That is true, but with the way Mike Vrabel, this is my opinion, with the way Mike Vrabel likes to coach and the way that team is set up and the schedule they had, they were everybody's dark horse to make, or not even dark horse, they were everybody's darling to make the playoffs. And I picked them to make the playoffs just looking at that. If the Colts, I don't think anybody saw this coming. Like, be it Daniel Jones' performance, be it Jonathan Taylor coming back the way he's come back, and just the way they're playing football overall. So it's just a little bit more impressive.
I'll throw Mike McDonald's name in there too. What he's got doing with Seattle, he's been pretty good. And the game of the year, I will say, probably I don't agree with that. It's going to be the Browns Jets next week. That'll be the game of the year.
Hey, it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man,
it might be. You never know. We've seen
historically the Browns and Jets play classic games, bro. Like you could take it back however far you want to. You take it back to the 80s with the double overtime playoff game. You could take it recently to Baker's first appearance against the Jets. You could take it to a few seasons ago. Joe Flacco coming back 14 points with 2 minutes left. Like, for some reason, the Browns and Jets play classic games. So you might be trying to be facetious, but you actually might be telling the truth at the same time.
Yesterday, I would have agreed. But today, my defense was gutted.
Wow.
So, no. It'll be another blowout.
just think about it this way: you get to see a lot of the guys on the bench and see what their potential is, and if they're not worth it, they're gonna get out of there, man. Show and prove. This is time. If there are people on that bench who probably been screaming, "Hey, man, I want some more playing time. I want to get in, coach." Now, hey, bro, get in there. Show me what you got, because you see coaches, the owners is letting people go. But anyway, guys, look at that, man. We done ran clean past 2 hours. Once again, I want to give a big shout out to Chiefs for Black Baseball Mixtape. Champ, my guy, my brother, what you got going on this week?
Just check out the latest episode of the Undisputed GOAT podcast. We did a surprise episode today to cover the trade deadline. Shout out to Flash, shout out to BRF Sports, and our special guest star, Sports PSP. Although he's not on the show every week, he is a part of that show. And of course, we have to do the Sports PSP podcast this Friday, live at 9:00 p.m. It is always the highlight of Friday nights. Up to 150,000 followers on YouTube. So keep your ears to the street on that one. And finally, we have the Undisputed GOAT podcast coming back on Sunday evening in order to recap the game while we provide commentary on Sunday Night Football. Once again, K-Witt and RecRoom, thank y'all for inviting me. I really appreciate every last one of you guys. And like I always tell people, when people stop inviting you to the party, that's when you got to be worried. So thank y'all for always inviting me and sending that invitation and, giving me something to talk about and look forward to.
Hey, man, you ain't got to worry about getting no invitation, man. It's in the mail. Just show up and say, what y'all doing today? Like, some people do where they find out you got your spot, man. Anything else anybody want to throw out there? What's up?
Hey, don't forget about the best Thursday night post-game show.
Oh, go ahead. What you got? Yeah, you guys both kind of.
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
I'll say just don't forget about the best Thursday night post-game show. Me, April, boy Wildcard Moore.
Yeah, audible. Okay, and then Alan, what was you gonna say?
Lock it in Saturday and Sunday. Saturday college football and college basketball now. Sunday NFL. Sunday night post game this week. Steelers Chargers should be a good one.
Should be a good one. Big shouts out to my Steelers for taking it over and beating the best team in the league. I don't know why anybody said that. So you know me, I'm gonna go ahead and hold it down for my own set. That's right.
They finally play defense. They finally play defense. What?
It's the best team in the league. But you know what? I would talk about it. But guess what, Alan?
I wish you had more time.
And we don't. So guess what, dog? We gonna go ahead and get him out of the door. I'm your boy K-Witt. That's AP Allen Maryland right there. That's just regular old April for right now. That's my guy Champ. And of course, that is Bobby G for the RecRoom Sports podcast, where life and sports meet culture. We're gonna go ahead and get him out of the door, man. We appreciate you for hanging with us. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. This is the RecRoom podcast, and boy, we had a great show. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're going to be back next Tuesday. And we're going to do the rest of the superlatives from the other members of the crew. Thanks again, Champ. Come on back next week, Champ. We're going to talk some more football, man.